Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Thursday, October 24th, 2024, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $ ORIONNWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got Thursday night football, the Minnesota Vikings versus the Los Angeles Rams. Kickoff is going to be here in roughly 10 minutes. So let's get locked and loaded, take a look at the thumb, and let's get ready for Thursday night football. Let's get it, baby. And on the thumb, on the left, we got Jets, Jay Jetta, Justin Jefferson. And on the right, welcome back, Cooper Kupp. And we're going to see a little bit of Puka Nacua supposedly here tonight. And I know the Rams offense, they've had Kyren Williams, and he's been scoring in every game. But it's definitely going to look a little bit different tonight with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Fantasy owners, rejoice. Let's go, baby. I'm ready. Daniel in the building, what's good? Reflect in the building, what's good? Should be a good one. I mean, I don't really know what to expect out of Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua, if they're going to be playing, the whole game, half of the game, if they're on limited snaps or not. But it should be pretty exciting. And this will be the first time that I don't have everyone healthy, but I got to wait one more week. When we get into, week 9, week 10, then I'll be able to have maybe everyone potentially available. So definitely excited to see where that goes. Appreciate you very, very much. Thank you, man. $100 dono. And it's always nice to be able to have people that have such generosity and consideration for me and the hard work that I put in on this channel. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you. Go ahead and win that fantasy championship. My championship king. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack bang bang. Thank you so much. And we'll see what happens tonight. And, with Kyren, that's the type of player that I wanted. A lot of the players that you ended up drafting were the ones that I had circled on my board. I wanted Joe Mixon, couldn't get him. I wanted Kyren, I couldn't get him. I wanted Jalen, couldn't get him. So, again, when you have an idea of these certain type of players like Amon-Ra, Jay Jetta, didn't get either of those guys, and I'm paying the price for it. So again, normally you have to stick to the guys that you trust and the guys that are going to be usually pretty consistent year in and year out. Guys like Jalen, guys like Kyren, guys like Joe Mixon, Jetta, Amon-Ra, and a guy that you also have that I normally draft every year in David Montgomery. And it shows you when you end up having a lot of those key pieces that you can trust week in and week out, you're not only going to be projected for the highest points of the week. Usually that's me, right? And this year it's you, but again, you're not really having serious season-ending injuries besides with Rashee Rice, but you drafted so well, and everyone else has been able to stay, relatively healthy. Now they've had a few guys with Njoku, and you've had Nico Collins, where you have guys that really haven't played as much as you'd like. But again, the bench was deep enough. You're making moves every week. You're making sure you're picking up my scraps like Sam Laporta. And knowing you, he'll probably end up catching fire for you at some point. And then if you can't use a Njoku, insert Sam Laporta. And then hopefully that'll end up helping you win a championship here in 2024. And you are correct. Kyren, not a great matchup. But again, Kyren is different. And we know that, they can go to Cooper, they can go to Puka, and that's all fine. But Kyren is one of the most consistent running backs, in the NFL, just like Joe Mixon. So even if it ends up being a red matchup, hell, it could be red 1. I would still be playing Kyren because he's that good. Because with that offensive line, they've had injuries, but it hasn't really stifled Kyren this season. He's still being able to go out there and score touchdowns, regardless if they have 3 starters out of 5, 2 starters out of 5, 1 starter out of 5. It doesn't matter. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit harder for him to get in the end zone. But, maybe there ends up being a deep pass to like Puka, Cooper Kupp, and they get down to like the 5-yard line. Where do you think they're going to go? They're probably going to end up going with Kyren. So, I would say that there's a pretty good chance that Kyren scores once, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit if he ends up scoring twice in a game like this. And I know they're going to try to get, Puka and Cooper Kupp in the end zone. And I assume that Cooper is going to be a little bit healthier than Puka. But again, we're not going to really know until we actually watch this game, to see if Puka is on a limited snap, share, and he's only going to be playing like 30%. And is Cooper Kupp playing the whole game? And obviously with the record that I'm in, I have no choice. I have to play Cooper Kupp. It's been a horrible year for me. But again, I still have faith. I'm still making moves. And I just got to try to find a way to catch fire to the best way I can. And at this point, the best I'm going to be able to do is 500, and try to finish off the year 7-7, which is probably impossible. But again, I still have a little bit of hope. If I can get Cooper Kupp and if I can get Christian McCaffrey healthy, that might be able to spark me a little. Now I'm still going to have to make sure I have the right defense and the right kicker. And everything is just crazy with my team this year. Aubrey is in jury duty, so I can't even use him. They might play him if they, the trial ends, but he wants to do his civil duty. It's just crazy. Like every weird thing that possibly could happen to me this year has happened. But again, that's what makes fantasy. Sometimes you're going to do well. Sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're going to draft well, like I normally do, or you can be an idiot like I was this year and take too many chances, and I'm paying the price for it. But one person that didn't take chances and one person that did a great job is Reflect, and that would be the person that I would assume that is going to win the championship this year. Let's go. I appreciate you very, very much. Yeah, and again, that's another thing to be able to keep an idea and keep watching what the good players do and what rostered players they have. And then it gives you an idea for the following year. Oh, if he's available, I need to grab him, because not only is David Montgomery the best RB2 in the league, he actually could be an RB1 on any team in the NFL, including Detroit. So it shows you, when you got two RB1s, they're the only, team in the NFL to have that, and you can still get 10, 15, 20, 25 points from an RB2. It's the ultimate flex, especially if you have injuries to your running backs, tight ends, wide receivers, which you have. And that's one thing. When one great player watches another, you can kind of tell, okay, this is a good offense. They're not going to really. Now, we didn't really know with Johnson and the OC that they were going to kind of fade Sam Laporta, and they were going to go with more J-Mo and obviously more with Montgomery and Gibbs. And even Amon-Ra, hasn't really been getting the ball as much, because they're trying to spread it around to some of these other guys. But again, the players that you have, it's working for you. Let me know what any photos that you want, as we end up getting into this broadcast. And I could definitely see this going either way. A good stat that they brought up is that every team that has lost to the Vikings, every team that has lost to the Lions the following week, they have not won. And I know the Rams got a pretty good record here on Thursday night. We know that the offense isn't very good besides Kyren, but now they got Cooper and Puka Nacua. The defense is a huge liability for the Rams, but if they're going to go back and forth, touchdown for touchdown, I could definitely see this one going either way. And with the Minnesota Vikings, Sam Darnold played great within the first month. Last two games, not so much. Jordan Addison had 10 touchdowns last year. I think he only has one up to this point. So they need to get him involved. Sam Darnold trusts Jay Jetta. TJ Hawkinson is not healthy just yet. We'll probably see him in the next couple weeks as well. And that'll help Sam Darnold and this Minnesota Viking offense. But the defense is one of the best in the NFL. You got a couple teams that are at the very, very top, the Denver Broncos and the Minnesota Vikings. And, Andrew Van Ginkel, you got certain guys like Harrison Smith, and you got Gilly Lock, the OGs that have been there for a long, long time. But really the MVP, besides Darisaw and some of the guys up front, you could say is Van Ginkel. He's been a guy that not really many people remember him, based on, his previous teams that he's played on. Or maybe you remember him a little bit in Miami, but definitely playing under the Flores system. It shows you if you have a great defensive coordinator and a good head coach, right? And you got Flores on one side, and then obviously, you got on the other side with Kevin O'Connell, obviously got mentored from Sean McVay. And this is going to be very interesting to see if O'Connell can show McVay everything that he's learned from Sean up to this point. Let's go, baby. I'm ready. Captain Oreo in the building. What's good? Yeah, and again, if you look at the targets, only getting like one target a game, for Sam Laporta. And the only reason I drop Sam and not put him on my bench, because yes, I do know that there are going to be occasional games where he gets 1 to maybe 3 targets. Normally it's like 5 or more, but this year the tight end position's crazy, right? So if he's only going to get 1 to 3, then he's touchdown dependent. So if he doesn't get a touchdown, he's not going to get to 10. And there's been too many games, for him getting, 0, 1, 2, 3.5. And in the position that I'm in right now, I can't afford to get another 3 at the tight end, because it's not like I have anyone to make up for it. So I ended up getting Mark Andrews. He's been good for 3 weeks. He's got a very tough matchup against the Browns, which means Sam Laporta on your bench will probably get 10 to 20, and Mark Andrews will probably get 3. But it is what it is. I can at least trust Mark Andrews, and maybe Sam Laporta will get hot for you as the year goes on. And if it doesn't work out with Njoku or he gets hurt, then maybe Sam Laporta can be, one of those unsung heroes for you moving on. But again, we'll have to kind of monitor to see if Laporta's targets go up or not. But again, I didn't really want to get rid of him. It's very boom or bust. But when Mark Andrews was available, I thought, I don't really need another one at this point. My team's, fucking stinks. I need to be able to strengthen other positions. So, it is what it is, but we'll see how it goes. Let's go, baby. Yeah. And again, it's like Joe Mixon. Bad matchup, you're still going to play him. Kyren, bad matchup, you're still going to play him. And now you might have other options where you might, put a Montgomery in there and one of those guys goes to the bench. But again, with Jalen, more times than not, unless it's like a red one, the key guys that you have are guys that I had circled on my board. And I like consistency. I'm not really enamored by star power. I want consistency. And consistency is king in fantasy. And if you get those guys, then you're going to end up having a 7-0 record like Reflect and going back-to-back. Obviously, is the goal for you. And it kind of looks like you have a very good chance to have that happen. Good facts. Oh, she's good. She is good. And here we go. Got her nails trimmed, got her body washed, and, been giving her all the love and the snugs and the kisses, and we've been going on a lot of walks. So, she's doing very, very good. She feels so fresh and so clean, and she knows Dad loves her. So I appreciate you guys very, very much. Megan with a 20. Appreciate you. Let me know when you come back, and I'll get you some photos. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Let's go. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. We're at 120, 80 to go. Yeah. And again, with Andrews, knowing my luck, again, he's had 3 games of 9.5 or better, but knowing my luck, I'll put him in. And it's not a good matchup this week, but I have to roll the dice. Hand off, Aaron Jones right up the gut. And I had an opportunity where I've been going back and forth with, Sam Darnold and obviously Caleb Williams. But again, with the last 2 starts of Sam, I just couldn't trust myself. Being so bad in fantasy already as it is. Now, is it possible that Sam Darnold, gets 20 to 25 points tonight? Yes, there is a chance, that he ends up getting 2 or 3 touchdown passes, especially against the Rams defense. Their defense is not very good, but just based on how he's played the last couple games, obviously they're in London and against the Lions, and I know this defense isn't as good, but I just couldn't put him in there. And then I had to let him go and just pick up a little bit more depth. So I'm going to go with Caleb Williams against the Washington Commandos on the road. It's at a 1 o'clock, game, and Caleb has been playing a little bit better, so I got to trust my gut that both guys might be able to get to 20, but the one I trust more right now is Caleb Williams, so that's where I decided to go. But knowing my luck and how everything has been going, maybe Sam Darnold goes off for 30 tonight, and I look like an idiot. But again, I have to go with what I trust, and sometimes it's hard for me to be able to trust some of these guys. Aaron Jones bouncing into the outside, stiff arm, almost a first down. Second down and short. Darnold. And obviously it looks like they're going to be doing a heavy dose of pounding the rock on probably both sides. So, and again, there's weapons, to be able to go to. But again, we'll see what kind of game this ends up being. If it ends up being a running back game or if it ends up being more of a wide receiver game. But it kind of feels like it's going to be more of a running back game. And they're going to sprinkle in the passes, to Jay Jetta. Addison might get a few here, maybe 4 or 5. But again, it's just really hard to be able to trust a guy, with getting low stats the previous 2 games, even if it's against good defenses, and then going into a game where you could, play well, but, you never know. There we go, Jay Jetta, first down, Vikings. Now, one thing is for sure, Jetta will probably get the touchdown, but does he get in 2 times or 3 times? I'm not so sure. And it's not like Jetta has been getting that many yards. Yes, he's been putting up fantastic fantasy numbers, but not as much as last year or the year before. I believe he only has 1 game of over 100 yards receiving, which is a little wild. But again, they're trying to keep a balanced offense. No TJ Hawkinson. Addison really hasn't been doing a whole lot. 10 touchdowns last year, only 1 this year. But, again, that's the one target that Sam Darnold trusts to keep his job. I understand. And Jetta is one of the best wide receivers, if not the best wide receiver in the NFL. Big facts. But we'll see how it goes. I don't expect a whole lot, but I could have just dumped all my players and let everyone have a free for all and just, gave up, but again, this has been a big part of my life for a long, long time. And if I'm going to end up walking away, I want to make sure that I'm doing everything in my power to try to be able to have a successful rest of the season. So we'll see where it goes. Caleb Williams, James Conner, Kareem Hunt, Amari Cooper, Cooper Kupp, Mark Andrews, Jordan Mason, which I might have to sub out because he's injured, Broncos or Chiefs D, and then I had to get Bates because Aubrey is jury duty, and we'll see if he ends up playing or not. The matchup isn't the greatest, but, the craziest things have happened to me this year. I never heard about a player having jury duty during the regular season, let alone the best kicker in football. But I guess that just makes it a little bit more exciting for me, letting the sports gods letting me know that, hey, you've been good in the past, but we're going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at you. And again, it's been very tough this year. But again, I wouldn't expect it to be any other way because it's just the way that it's been for me since week 1. And, I definitely learned a lot of lessons. And if I ever do go back, and end up doing a league, I obviously, I'm going to, play it more safe instead of taking so many risks and whatnot. And, and maybe I got to do something crazy. Maybe Elliott, he knew that Lamar was going to win the MVP. We all kind of laughed when he ended up picking him in the first round. And normally you don't pick a quarterback, but it's worked out for him. His running back and wide receivers aren't as strong as some of the other teams in the league. But one thing that is strong is his quarterback. And I wish I had a quarterback like you guys. I wish I had, and I know Captain Oreo can relate. I wish I had a Lamar. I wish I had a Jalen Hurts. I wish I had a top dog that I could count on in and out. And yeah, you're going to have to make substitutions once in a while with a tough matchup. But for the most part, that's going to be your starter probably 90% of the games. And again, injuries could happen to Jalen or Lamar, but Lamar's playing like the MVP. And, maybe that's something that I should have done. Just went crazy and ended up taking Lamar in the first round. I mean, it would have got me a lot more wins in production than having CMC on the bench for 10 fucking weeks, giving me nothing. So, go figure. Sarah in the building. What's good? Tyree in the building. What's good? Fly Eagles fly. How are you? Cam Curl with the injury. And it's not like they have a whole lot of depth on that side of the ball either. So, but we'll have to see if they exploit the weaknesses, on that side of the ball, or if they're just going to play it safe since Sam hasn't really been that good in the last 2 weeks. Darnold. And it seems like they're trying to go more of the safe route. And, Aaron Jones has been playing good. So you might as well hand the ball off when you got a stud like that to go to. Rather than a guy like Madison, was kind of hit or miss. He would come in, for guys like Dalvin Cook, and every once in a while get you 15 to 20 points. But really wasn't consistent when he became the starter last year. And that's why they dumped him and moved him on. And now he's on the Raiders. But a big upgrade from, Cook to Madison, and obviously Cook was good, but obviously got old, right? And that kind of hits you fast, right? Father Time is undefeated. And then now Aaron Jones is looking at like a very good fit here with the Vikings. Shotgun set, Darnold, plenty of time, right over the middle. There we go, Jay Jetta, first down, Vikings. Yeah, I wish I had the team that I had last year. Little Jay Jetta, Amon-Ra, Mike Evans. I mean, the Keenan Allen value isn't the same, but like I said, I normally, don't take so many risks and chances, but I was trying to build a super team of fun, where, maybe if the guys can stay healthy, they can put up big numbers. I was hoping that, AR would actually be a top 10 quarterback on the ground and in the air. And, Cooper Kupp would have, 30-40% target share, and he would be going crazy for 20 to 30 every game. And, Run CMC is going to give me 25 to 40 every game. And it just didn't happen. Touchdown! Vikings. Sam Darnold gets it done. Josh Oliver with the tutty. There you go. Nice job by Sam Darnold. But still, I got to go with more of the hot hand. And again, like I had him, I was kind of going back and forth. Do I want to start Sam Darnold? Do I even want him on my team? And then I thought, fuck, man, I can't have him on my bench, and then all of a sudden he goes off for 20 to 30. That'll just make me feel even worse. So, I ended up just replacing him with another player on the wire. Kick is up, and it's good. 7-0 Vikings. I just got to get everything refreshed here. All right, perfect. But you got to think that Jetta more than likely is going to get in once, maybe not twice, but at least once before the game is over. But, I don't know, man. It's just been such a weird year. Like, I try to be smart. I try to play it safe. And everything that I've done, like the opposite is what goes on. So I think this player is going to do good. This player is in a red matchup is going to do bad. So then I end up playing the matchups and based on how they've been playing lately. And normally it works for me. But this year, like, I could have all green and then they all shit the bed. And then I look at my bench with all red, and those are the guys that are putting up 15 to 20 points each. So, I don't know what to say. Sometimes I guess it's bad luck. I don't know what it is, but, whatever, strategies that I had in the past have definitely worked against me. But again, when you don't draft well, it ends up being a killer. And again, if I would have drafted better or got some of the players that I wanted, I wouldn't be in this position. But, I could have took Joe Burrow over AR, and then maybe my season would have been saved. But I didn't want Joe Burrow, and maybe I should have. At this point, even if he has struggles. But again, sometimes you have to take a chance on a guy, and then you realize that Anthony Richardson is the Daniel Jones of Cam Newton's. And that really fucked me, not getting any points out of my quarterback, no points out of my tight end, and then having my star running back and wide receiver not available. I've never heard of anyone in fantasy missing out on their top 4 pieces and still being able to make the playoffs. And, that's where I'm at right now today. First down and 10. Let's see what Stafford does here with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Shotgun set. Stafford. There we go. Oh, and he drops it. Puka. You get the first look and you drop it? Come on, my guy. I like the long, wavy hair. Get him a sponsorship to Head and Shoulders there, but you got to be able to catch that ball, Puka. Nerves are probably pretty high for Puka and Cooper Kupp. You got to catch that with your hands, my guy. And then he just kind of lost track, of the football, and I saw the defender closing in. But it's great to be able to see both of those guys out there. If you have them in fantasy, it's definitely going to help regardless of what your record is. Shotgun set. But again, if you probably have Puka or Cooper Kupp, or run Christian McCaffrey, you're probably doing shitty, for the most part. So especially if you got Cooper and CMC like myself. So cool kid in the building. What's good? But I love being able to see both of those guys out there. And obviously Stafford has had a rough year with touchdowns and interceptions, a shadow of what he was. But again, offensive line all banged up, no one really to throw to. Really the only good offensive weapon for the Rams is the one that Reflect has with Kyren Williams, who's actually been a fucking beast. And again, if you watched him last year, you knew he was going to be good this year. One of the best running backs in the NFL, hands down. First down, Rams. Speaking of, there he is, Kyren Williams. And this is a guy that people should be targeting every year moving forward, regardless if the offensive line is good or bad. He might be the only guy in the NFL that could have a bad offensive line and still get in the end zone once a game or more. 117 rushes, 449 yards, 8 tutties. He's tied with Derrick Henry, and he's scored, I believe, in 8 consecutive games, and we're going to make it 9 here tonight for Reflect, and maybe even get Reflect in the end zone twice with Kyren. Shotgun set, Stafford looking for a target. No Cooper Kupp yet, but hopefully we'll end up seeing Cooper Kupp at some point. We're at 120, 80 to go. Thank you so much for the generosity with not only Reflect, but also with Megan. And we got 80 more to get the secondary goal. Yeah. The number one reason that you're dominant and I'm ass is because you drafted better than me. And again, when you draft well, and I normally have a top 5 draft every year. Hell, after the draft, I had the second best projection. They had me at 2. Now I'm at like 9. So when those guys go down and then they underperform, like AR, and then I have injuries, there's, you can't recover from that. I can hit the wire all I want, but you're not going to find top tier guys that are going to be averaging 20, 30 a game. Those guys are on other people's teams. So, and again, Rice, obviously was unfortunate because he was playing like a top 3, top 4 receiver in the league. So that was unfortunate, but you still got CeeDee Lamb, you still got Nico, he'll be back in a couple weeks, and you still got plenty of other pieces to kind of fill in the gaps. So like Brian, obviously J-Mo didn't really work out with the suspension and whatnot, but Brian has been huge for you. And again, having Montgomery at the flex or the RB2 is a luxury that most teams would love to have. And normally that's a guy that I draft. I like Detroit Lion players. And usually, I go for those type of guys because I know they're going to have a good offense. But lo and behold, I picked the one Detroit Lion that doesn't do anything this year in Sam Laporta. But again, maybe he'll do something for you being on a better team. Maybe Sam will recognize that he's on a championship team, not a shit team like mine. And maybe he'll start getting you some points. Little screen pass, Puka. Go, baby, go. Puka looking good out there. First down, Rams. Let's go. But again, you just have to be able to, pay attention to, what the good players do year in and year out. And there's typically players that people look at and draft every year if they have the opportunity. And I know Reflect is the same way. And, I just wish I could have gotten a few of those that were both on our boards. Otherwise, my season might have been a little bit better. But I am rooting for you to take the chip. And obviously to go back-to-back, which is a difficult thing to do. We obviously know Shep's team is good. Zini, we'll see if Matt can get there or whoever that fourth team is. Should be a flag right there. There we go, a little face mask. But again, with Shep and Zini's bench, not as strong. So again, if there's any major injuries to their starters, you're going to pull away. So again, it's very important to be able to continue to beef up that bench, even if you end up having a 5-1 record or, you're 4-2 or whatever it may be. Because if you end up getting a little bit too comfortable and you don't have a strong bench, as soon as that superstar goes out like they did for me, you're going to feel the pain because there's no one that you're going to be able to get on the wire that's going to replace that big-time talent, of like a Saquon Barkley or a Jay Jetta that Shep has, and I think he knows it too. So sometimes you have to be a little bit lucky with the injuries. First and goal. I would love to be able to see a tutty here for the Rams to tie this up. Will it be Kyren? Hand off, Kyren. And even if the Vikings defense is tough, again, he's like the one guy that it doesn't really matter. He runs so hard for kind of a little back that, he kind of runs like a Derrick Henry in a small frame. So he's not afraid. And again, if I could have my choice, for guys at running back, it would definitely be the ones that Reflect has with Mixon and Kyren. Those would be my top 2, besides maybe someone like Saquon or like a Derrick Henry if I had that option. So second and goal. Let's see if they end up tossing it or if they just give it to Kyren. Kyren is very capable. Even if they got 8 in the box, Cooper Kupp man in motion. Maybe I can get a Kupp touchdown. Throw to Kupp, first one out of his reach. Got some easies to Puka Nacua, and then obviously had to throw the difficult one to Cooper Kupp. Incomplete. Yeah, but again, smart people make smart decisions. And again, normally I play it smart, but I do like to take risks. But I just took too many this year, and I'm paying the price for it. 3rd and goal. Come on, Rams. Let's tie this up, baby. There we go. Touchdown. Rams. There you go, my boy. And that's another thing right there. He's not only good with running the football, he's a great pass catcher. So it doesn't matter. You want to think that he's going to run it right up the gut with a halfback dive or a counter. Uh-oh. All of a sudden, what happened? You end up just drifting your eyes away from Kyren for just a split second, and then he ends up pounding it there into the end zone. Touchdown, Ramley. Nice job. And that's what makes him so good, too, is that he can get it not only with the run, but, if you're going to play a weak zone like that, he's going to win that matchup against a linebacker, 10 out of 10. Nice job, Matthew Stafford. There we go. There's your points, baby. Kick is up, and it's good. There we go. It shows you, when you have great players, how much of a difference it does make, week in and week out. Even against a tough Viking defense, he could still score 2 or 3 times. And not many guys, you could say that about. Maybe Henry, Saquon, Mixon, him. There's not very many. Some you have to actually put on the bench when it's a red matchup. But others, they're so good and so creative that they're going to find a way to get in the end zone, regardless if Puka and Cooper Kupp are coming back. That obviously will be a little bit of a decoy, for the defense as well. And they took full advantage. We're knotted up at 7. Vikings and Rams. Nice job. And let me know any photos of anything that you want to see. I'll throw up a couple Kyrens while we're just waiting, since he's such a beast. But again, that's why it's so important to, follow football, for every single team, because you just never know of that breakout player that maybe some people forgot about. And if you don't do your research or you're not watching games, you could end up leaving a piece behind that could have, been yours in the draft, but people are sleeping. Reflect is making people pay. Nice job. Wish I had a player like that. Dual threat, baby. Probably the best undersized back in the NFL. I'm trying to think of anyone that's undersized like him that's better than him. I can't really think of anybody. I think he is the best undersized back in the NFL, hands down. I mean, there's going to be bigger guys like Derrick Henry that's going to rumble and bumble, but again, as far as, being kind of a smaller back, I don't think there's anyone that has the skill set as him. Coming out of Notre Dame, and he's brought every piece of that Notre Dame Fighting Irish swagger to the Rams, and he's delivering game in and game out. Nice job. And there's a good chance that he gets a touchdown on the ground before this game's over too, like almost guaranteed. So good fantasy points, especially if you can get your running back to 20 or 30. Very likable player. Easy to root for. Always puts up big numbers. Consistent, and that's what you want, consistency. And we had a little bit of worries when the offensive line was all beat up, thinking, maybe Kyren won't be able to get into the end zone as easily because of all the injuries on the offensive line where they had like 3 out of their 5 starters out in the first month. But it hasn't really phased them. Kyren is that good at reading the holes and hitting the holes that he can still find ways to be crafty to get in the end zone. So, Sarah with $1. Appreciate you. Every dollar counts. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. Appreciate you. We're at 121. 79 to go. $263 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns versus man coverage. But also Jordan Addison is, kind of feeling the pain because Sam is only really looking to Jetta, 90% of the time. And then the other, when he's actually, handing the ball off to Aaron Jones, I mean, that's really where the whole offense is. It's like Jetta, 60%, Aaron Jones, 40%. That's pretty much it. And then for whatever reason, if you get like a small piece of the pie, then it's going to end up going to a random player, like a Josh Oliver for a tutty. So Yeah. McVay is. And he taught a lot to Kevin O'Connell. I feel that, both of them have good offensive minds. And anytime you end up going under that coaching tree, you'll definitely be able to show what you can do. Shotgun set, second down and 11. Darnold, wide open. There's Addison. For a guy that had 10 tutties, they need to get him the ball a little bit more. Obviously, if you got Justin Jefferson in fantasy, you don't want to hear that. But if you got Addison, you're probably not starting him in this game, or you probably haven't started him all year because he doesn't get enough targets or points to start. But last year he was a phenom, right? Need to get back to that. And we'll be doing the World Series tomorrow, game number 1 in LA, where they're going to have many, many things in California tomorrow. A couple of high school, big matchups for high school football. Everything that you could possibly think of is going down in LA tomorrow. So, handoff. Jones rumbles there for about 5 or 6. But we'll end up doing Yankees and Dodgers. And then on Saturday, I might try to do the Ducks in Illinois and World Series game number 2. I'm going to try to do every World Series game, because I feel it's going to be must-see TV. And I think we'll get some good views on it as well. And, potentially some new subs as well. So, it's only going to give me about a half hour to hour break after the Duck game ends. And then the World Series game 2 starts. But I think I can push through it. Darnold, there we go. First down, Vikings, move the chains. Jay Jetta. I really wish I knew what it was like to have Justin Jefferson or Amon-Ra, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen. It was nice to be able to have those. My running backs kind of suffered, though, last year. But it shows you sometimes you don't need as many good running backs when you have wide receivers that can put up 20 or 30 like I did. The best running back I had was David Montgomery, and then I had to keep flip-flopping with like Jalen Warren and Najee Harris giving me like 10. So it's like you're not really getting a whole lot out of running backs, maybe 10 points each, right? But again, if your wide receivers are giving you 30 each, you're going to make up the difference. Darnold, play action fake, little bootleg, rolling to his right on first down and 10. Tuck it in, run, baby. Sliding safe. Just a gain of a few there. And it's just like yours this year, when you had 3 of the top 5. Normally I have 3 of the top 5 running backs or 3 of the top 5 wide receivers, and it makes all the difference. If you can, obviously, predict correctly, and those guys end up hitting. Unfortunate with your Rashee Rice, because if you had Rashee Rice with CD and Nico and none of them got hurt, there's no way anyone's catching you. You're winning every game the whole year, based on the production of those guys. Third down and 1. First down, Vikings. Yeah, but even they scored even more than I was expecting, but I had an idea of, what guys are going to get the ball and what guys are going to go off and whatnot. It was just kind of an extra to have, Mike Evans and Keenan Allen, late. When people passed on those guys, and those guys ended up cashing in for me. But towards the end of the year, I couldn't even use half of the receivers that I had because Herbert got hurt, and I had injuries kind of late there with Jetta. Like the one year that Jetta got injured, of course I had him, but I got to use him for a good chunk of the year. Nice catch by Jetta. Mick in the building. What's good? How's Double E? Saquon, Jetta, Kyren, Neighbors, Godwin. Yeah, unfortunate with the Godwin, and Neighbors hasn't really been able to do what he did in the first month, but Kyren and Saquon and Jetta's Mick is nice. And again, Godwin was like the number 2 wide receiver before he got hurt, and the Neighbors was number 1. So for a while, you were probably kicking ass and taking names, and you were probably undefeated, having all those top tier guys. And unfortunate when you have a number 1 receiver, then he has a concussion in Neighbors. Number 2 receiver in Godwin, even better than Mike Evans this year. And then he goes down with that season-ending ankle injury. Definitely hurt my chances of making the playoffs, and let alone going on a deep run. But that's a nice fucking squad. Yeah, and Laporta. Yeah. Did I have Andrews and Laporta? I believe I had two. First and goal. Touchdown, Sam Darnold, making me pay in fantasy. There it is. Touchdown, Vikings. It ain't Justin Jefferson, but it's one of those rando guys. But sometimes it's hard to trust a guy when he's got, 2 games that weren't really that good. But, hey, story of my life, man. Hopefully Caleb can get me 20 against the Commandos with no Jaden Daniels. You lost by 14 the first week. 1.4 the second week, but now you're second. Oh, okay, nice. You must have played just tough matchups at the beginning of the year, which happened to me. In the first 4 weeks, I ended up getting everyone's, best effort. And when you get the most points scored on you in the league, you're not going to be able to catch up at that point, and that's where I'm at. Extra point is up and good. Sam Darnold going to people that are not named Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson since he's injured, or Jay Jetta, but good for Sam. 14-7 Vikings. Sam Darnold already at 12.58 fantasy points. I don't know. For me, trust is tough to build. It's about consistency and trust. But he had 4 against the Jets, good defense in London, and then played Detroit's defense, which is kind of hit or miss, with no Aiden Hutchinson, and he only put up 1 touchdown and 1 pick, 16 points. So obviously getting back on track, throwing the ball often, but no touchdown for Jetta just yet. But chances are you're gonna get one before the game's over. Maybe you might have to wait till the second half, but looks like Sam is approaching a 20 to 25 point fantasy day. So maybe I just need to start doing the opposite of whatever I believe. When I think someone might have an off game, they end up blowing up. So maybe I just need to, pick everyone that I think is going to do terrible and then they'll go off. But, not really the type of strategy I typically have. But I've been more wrong this year than any year that I've ever done fantasy. So, it is what it is. You got the most points scored and scored against. Wow. Well, good luck. Are you doing a league, Mick, with Elliot and the rest of your friends? How's the new job? How's everything going? It's not really new now since you've already been working that job, the one that you ended up having after the pizza job and whatnot. Are you still at that same job, the one after the pizza job? Hopefully everything's going good for you and the fam, and as well as Elliot and everyone else in your little crew. Year and a half, I was going to say, after the pizza, no more free pepperoni pizza for Elliot, which is not good for him, but obviously for you, doing something that, might be paying you a little bit more, and congratulations for making it for a year and a half, my guy. Great to see you in the room. I know you're a busy guy, and, you'll only pop in here and there once in a while, but good to see you, my guy. Hope everything is going good in your life. 14-7 Vikings on the Rams. Less than a minute to go here in the first quarter, and it's been exciting. But I feel like this year there's been more surprises in fantasy and the NFL than any year that I can remember. Quarterbacks not being as good, tight ends being non-existent, more injuries to superstar players than I've ever seen within the first month, let alone the first 2 months. And that will definitely devastate you, if you got those key pieces on your team. Can't win games when your guys are on IR, right? So. Stafford under center with the audible. Cooper Kupp in the slot. Hopefully you get Cooper Kupp the fucking ball. Well, it's coming. There we go. Well, it looks like Puka is the number one receiver like he was last year, when Cooper was out. But now Cooper is in with him, and looks like I'm going to get 0 points out of Cooper Kupp unless fucking something changes. I get it. You like Puka and whatnot, but I mean, can I get some points with Cooper Kupp? Can I get a catch or two? I mean, I'm going to lose no matter what, but it would be nice to be able to at least have one of my guys, get 15 to 30 points. At least make me feel kind of good, Man in motion, shotgun set. And then he goes to Cooper Kupp, and what happens? He drops it. Fucking A, man. It's the story of my life, man. When it rains, it pours. Nothing goes right. Let's just throw 2024 in the fucking trash can and let's go to fast forward to 2025. Man, this has been a shit year. Yeah, they didn't even know that Puka was going to be playing. I mean, they just released the information like 2 hours ago that he was playing. But most people thought they would, have him play next week, not this week. So, and then the Cooper Kupp news came out. But I mean, I need that target share, that 30 to 40% target share with Cooper Kupp like he had in the first two games. But obviously, it looks like he's going to take second fiddle to Puka, at least in this game. And I'm pretty sure Chief has got Puka on the bench and maybe didn't even notice that he was playing today. It could have been a risk putting him in, but... Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's nice, if you got a good record, it's good to play it safe, and just wait to see what they do in that first game and then you play them, but if you're shitty or you have a bad record, which is something that normally does not happen to me, I have no choice. My team is so fucking decimated as it is. It's just like, sometimes you just got to roll the dice, and hope that they can get in the end zone or at least put up something. Second down and 10. Shotgun set. Stafford, screen pass. Kyren avoids that tackle, hit him with a skirt. God, he's athletic. This is like the best running back from Notre Dame in a long, long time. They've had Jerome Bettis and they've had a few other guys in the past, but Kyren is the best, maybe Notre Dame player that we've seen in a long fucking time. I remember Rick Meyer, and then ended up going to Seattle and a few other guys over the years, Tim Brown and whatnot. And, they've had some, notable guys, Rocket Ishmael and whatnot. But, man, Kyren is a gem. And I feel that, again, when a lot of other teams pass on him, getting into that McVay offense was the perfect place to get drafted, to utilize that skill set. Because if Kyren's on a different team, like let's say the Browns, you're not even talking about Kyren. So good for him to be able to get picked up by a guru genius like Sean McVay. End of the first quarter, 14-7 Vikings. Yeah, Rick Meyer. I mean, I've been, following a lot of the, different talent. And again, we've seen pieces that have been drafted by the NFL. And then you had a player choose baseball instead. So, you have, athletes that end up going to Notre Dame, but I haven't seen a running back as talented as this, maybe, since Jerome Bettis. Maybe that's the last one where you could be like, wow, this guy has got the it factor. And again, we know the Rams are still, struggling. They're 2-4. But last year, remember, they were 3-6, I believe, to my knowledge. And they ended up going on a run and ended up making the playoffs, a wild card. So just because you start off slow doesn't mean you're going to finish slow. You need a little bit of luck as well, to be able to kind of get things going. But we'll see what happens, obviously with the Rams this year. Obviously, the defense and offensive line is too decimated, and they don't have Aaron Donald. So it's not like anyone thinks that the Rams are making the playoffs, but they might be able to, get their record closer to 500 sooner than later. Ackley and Meyer. Yeah, don't give Seattle number 2 picks. Cooper Kupp with a 0 for me. That's fantastic. I love that. Puka's already got 8. That's on the bench for Chief. So hopefully Cooper doesn't end with a 0. That would be absolutely terrible. But again, knowing what's happened to me this year, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. And that's a credit to Sean McVay and watching tape and knowing what, system that he likes to run and getting those type of players that, other people pass on from Notre Dame and BYU. So, credit Sean McVay and that coaching staff for recognizing the talent. And also, it's not only recognizing the talent, but putting them on that team. Sometimes you've got to be on the right team with the right coaches and the right play callers to succeed. Because again, if Puka and Kyren ended up on, like the Browns or the Jaguars, we're probably not talking about them. So good for them to be able to grab those players, even though that is a rival to your Seahawks. Makes the games more interesting. 3rd down and 7. Stafford. Underneath to Puka. Looks like Puka is the only one that exists in Matthew Stafford's world today. Flag on the play. What draft are we talking about, Captain? Are we talking about NFL draft? I assume that's what you're talking about since we're watching NFL right now. I mean, there's always going to be players that are going to step up and end up playing better than anyone ever anticipated, right? So there's always going to, but if you're looking at like top tier talent, we'll see. We'll find out, but we also have to see who comes out of the draft, right? There's going to be a few guys, that are going to be like project QBs, and we'll see what they do. But like Cam Ward and Quinn Ewers and a few of these other guys, and Travis Hunter, if he ends up being a player that plays on offense and defense, there's going to be some guys. But as far as like top to bottom in the first 3 rounds, I'm not sure if it's going to be as good as this last draft that we had. But, again, everyone always likes to be able to assume that the particular draft that we're watching is the best thing since sliced bread. Just like in that Trevor Lawrence draft. Oh, my God, Trevor Lawrence. Oh, Justin Fields, Mac Jones. Oh, my God, Zach Wilson. He's going to be so good. Oh, my God. They're going to take over. And then now you wait a couple years later, and almost all of those guys are trash. I mean, even Trevor Lawrence really isn't that good. He's like more of a top 16 quarterback rather than top 10 or top 12. So if you're really looking at it, they got 2 top 16 quarterbacks in Fields and Lawrence, and that's not good. Considering with Trey Lance, not working out, obviously getting injured, bad timing, and probably will never get a shot to make a name for himself. Mac Jones terrible, and obviously Zach Wilson terrible too. So Richie in the building, what's good? All right, you're spamming up the chat too much. Goodbye. Sorry, Richie. Can't have you commenting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Come on, my guy. Learn how to act on YouTube. Your conversation got cut short, Sarah. No spamming. Man in motion. Little jet sweep. Puka. Yeah, I wonder, does Cooper Kupp have any value? Like, if I would have known that they're not even going to be looking his way, unbelievable. I mean, I get it. Like, if Cooper Kupp is out and then Puka's the number 1, but it's like almost like Sam Darnold to Jetta normally. Like, none of the other players exist except for that one guy. It's like you got Kyren and you got Puka, and Cooper doesn't exist. I guess that's my life now. Awesome. 2nd down and 3. Hand off to Kyren. He's trying to get into the end zone for a second time today. Wouldn't surprise me if he does. Big false start there. Come on. You can't be leaning forward like that. Come on, Jackson. Well, I mean, if they're not going to throw him the ball and use him, then, I know there could be a team that, but again, it's like, with his injury history, it's like when he's healthy, he can be great. He can be a top 5 receiver if you get him the ball and he's healthy. But, how often is he going to be healthy from now until the end of his career? He's definitely going to be beat up more than healthy, it seems like. Shotgun set. Stafford, floater, and complete. What kind of passes are these to Cooper Kupp? Is this my life? Is this how bad my life has gotten? That, literally, everyone else can get easy looks and everything, and, everything has got to be so fucking difficult. Even these attempts to Cooper Kupp, there's, no room. It's none of these throws are good to him. You give Puka the easy throws, easy catches. Cooper Kupp, you're giving him the most difficult look as possible. And where was the PI? Yeah, and just because some people end up, trading, it's not like D-Hop going to the Chiefs. They might be able to win the championship, but, D-Hop also has some injury, issues himself. I mean, obviously it gives him another option that if they, give him the football. Good tackle there by the Vikings, tripping up Kyren, but it's not like Patrick Mahomes is going to be fantasy relevant because D-Hop is there now. He's still not very good fantasy-wise. Now, as far as real life, this is a huge addition for Mahomes, and it'll help them give them the depth that they need at that position. But I'm not sure if you're going to get a huge spike every week out of Mahomes and D-Hop. Maybe here and there. Yeah, obviously the Niners need a receiver. But I don't know if the Rams would trade Cooper Kupp within the division. Shotgun set. Stafford. Shakes out of it. Touchdown, Cooper Kupp. But is it going to come back due to a flag? Where's my flag? Where's the flag? There has to be a flag. This doesn't count. My life is in shambles. This can't be real. Is this real? Is there a flag on the play? Tell me there's a flag. Okay. Should have been a sack lunch right there. Tucking in underneath, keeping his eyes downfield. Cooper Kupp moving in between the defenders in the back of the end zone. And lo and behold, Puka getting all the intermediate, but Cooper Kupp getting into the end zone. All right, now I feel a little bit better. Even if I end up losing every single game the rest of the year, at least I get to use my guys. That's all I ever wanted. I just want to use my guys. I just want to know what it's like to be you guys. I just want to know what it's like to score with Cooper Kupp. I want to know what it feels like to score with McCaffrey. I've never had McCaffrey, and I never will ever again. But it's kind of cruel to have this happen to me. But there we go. I'll take that. Cooper Kupp. I got some points. That's better than a 0, right? Cooper Kupp was 7.7. 1 reception, 7 yards. I would like to get some PPR points with some catches like how Puka is getting the looks, but again, I can't complain. He got it in the end zone, but I still need Cooper Kupp to get to 15 to 20 to give myself a shot against Elliott this week. So, it just seems like, I know it sounds crazy, thinking that the flag is going to come out there, but it's just my life this year has just been like that, man. It's just like expect the unexpected. Nothing good can happen, but at least something good finally happened. But, it would have been nice not having to wait this long to be able to have a Cooper Kupp touchdown. Like I said, week 1, when I beat Zini, the big reason was Cooper Kupp, and then he got injured in week number 2. And anytime you end up having an injury during the game, you lose 99% of the time, which I did, right? And it's happened to me 2-3 times already this season. But nice to be able to see some positive points there with Cooper Kupp. It just would have been nice to be able to use him in weeks 1 through 7, healthy, instead of having him for 1 week and now having to wait to week 8. And then I got to wait until probably next week for McCaffrey in week 9 or week 10. But at that point, it's too late. I'm already, too far behind to make a difference. Like, even if I ended up going on a massive win streak, the best that I can ask for is 7-7, which is terrible, and that's if I won every game the rest of the way, and we know that's not going to happen. So, but at least the Rams, got a tutty there with Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua making the difference, and obviously Chief will probably be regretting not starting Puka in his starting lineup, because I think there's a good chance for Puka to get in the end zone as well. Unless Cooper Kupp ends up getting 2 touchdowns, that wouldn't hurt my feelings. I mean, I've missed him all season. I have a terrible team, so it would be nice to be able to beat Elliott this week. Anyone that plays me is like, most people, a free win. You're going against me or Sarah or Megan, probably, free win. But you never know. Every once in a while, one of the bottom 3 might end up squeaking out an upset against one of the top dogs. We'll see how it goes. All right, Rams kicking off. Yeah, I don't think Cooper Kupp is going anywhere. Too valuable of a piece, you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't think Njoku is going to get traded either. Even with the Browns' woes, Jameis Winston's got to go to somebody. And obviously Jerry Jeudy, is going to be the number 2 option there, and he hasn't really been anything. So Njoku really turns into the number 1. So it's not like the Browns are going to be good. Blitz there, flag on the play. But Njoku is, arguably the best player on the team, besides Myles Garrett. So I don't think you can get rid of him. He's too much of a offensive weapon over there. Jameis has to be able to, make some plays at fucking somebody. So. And honestly, if you guys did get Njoku, he would be a non-factor unless Joe Flacco's playing. If Joe Flacco's playing, then Njoku is a factor. But if you got AR playing for you, everyone has 0 value. Pierce, 0 value. Michael Pittman, 0 value. Almost all the guys have 0 value because you can't count on that player, unfortunately. But that's true. First down and 15. Flag on the play. Pass incomplete. Yeah, but the thing is what are you going to get in return for Cooper Kupp? What are you going to get? Like what, a 5th rounder? 4th rounder? I don't think there's any 4th or 5th rounder that will be better than Cooper Kupp, And I know some people, end up wanting higher, compensation, like a 2nd or a 3rd or something like that. But, sometimes big name players, they end up, going for like a 5th, 6th, 7th round, and then others, the compensation might be a little bit higher, but I just don't think that you can get rid of. I mean, even if it was for a 2nd round pick, I highly doubt you're going to find a receiver at a 2nd round pick better than Cooper Kupp. I mean, there might be one, but you would have to dig pretty deep, and it would have to be the right team to do it. Little screen pass to Jetta. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got to look at the compensation, and say, okay, we can get a 2nd rounder, and 2nd rounders are coveted, right? Because that could be a big superstar player, 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round. But I mean, if you're looking at the talent of Puka and Cooper Kupp, when both guys are healthy, they're both top 10 receivers in the NFL. You're not going to probably find a top 10 receiver in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th round. Is it possible you find one? Yeah, they did with like Puka and Kyren, being 5th rounders. But I mean, if it's not the Rams drafting, then, but obviously the Rams probably could find one if they were willing to do it, but other teams probably wouldn't. Pass into the turf, incomplete. Verse with a nice get off there. And nice to be able to have a good competitive game here, 14-14 all, rather than watching like the Bengals and Giants that we did a few weeks back. Again, not every team is going to be fun to watch, but again, even teams that are not very good, like, the Rams at 2-4, obviously bringing back their 2 star wide receivers and having a star like Kyren, it does make it exciting, even though Aaron Donald is retired. Kyren with 12.3. We need to get you some field goals with Reichard. Hopefully at some point he can end up hitting a 50 for Reflect, so he can at least get to as close to 10 as possible. That's a beautiful thing when you see projections for like 130 to 140. I haven't been able to have that at all besides week 1 when my guys were healthy, except for CMC. It's just kind of a nice thing to see, but for some of us, it's like 119 or less, and then you get the top tier teams that are 124 to 140 projected. It's always nice to be able to see that. Yeah. And Reichard's got that distance too, because I'm always looking at, and you're the same. You're going to be looking at different options and, what guys that might be able to, have a particularly good game on that matchup. But sometimes it's hard to predict if they're going to be getting more touchdowns than field goal attempts, Sometimes it's hard to read that, where it's like, the offense is going to score, but, you still want to have them get the touchdowns, but you still need those field goal opportunities. Ones don't help you. 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s help you, for the distance, 30, 40, 50, 60-yard field goals. So Thomas versus Green Bay. Yeah, Green Bay has been pretty good on defense. Yeah. But again, those players have been so beast mode that sometimes, even with the matchups being tough, they still produce. And again, it's like you have a Justin Jefferson. You don't care if it's a red 1, you're still playing him. And, and even if he has a bad game, he's probably still going to get 10, if not more. So sometimes you just got to, you play the matchups, but also you got to trust your gut, knowing how they're used in the offense. And if they're used on the offense a lot, that they can still overcome a red matchup or a bad matchup, right? So Reflect. So I ended up going to the guy, the owner, and his wife that own the pet grooming place that I go to, and it's a few cities away from me. It's out towards Sherwood, where I used to live, towards like the Tualatin area. So it usually takes me about a half hour to drive out there to go, wash her, because I like to be able to give their business, my business. And, I was talking with the guy, and he's a sport fan as well. And he ended up leaving me, one of those, it's like pictures, but it's not like a framed picture. You know how they have those pictures that you can buy and you hang them up on the wall, but it's more like fabric. It's like kind of like that fabric. It's like that fabric type material. And it's like stretched out on some wood on the outside, but it's more like fabric, not like an actual photo. But I actually got a Safeco Field, huge one from 2011 that he ended up leaving in his office for me. Very, very cool. And it's just like a big, photo of just like the field, and then you can kind of see the backdrop, a little bit of the sky, kind of like when we end up doing the streams and whatnot. And it's got the Seattle Mariners out in the sky, little Mariner logo in the top left corner, and the bottom right, it's got the little MLB, but pretty cool. It's always nice to be able to have people do nice things for you and whatnot like that. I haven't been able to hang it up yet, though, because it's so big. Cooper Kupp with the catch. Oh, my God, it's a miracle. There he is. Nice job, Coop. but it's about the size of a 30 or 40 inch screen TV, like based off that size. It's a pretty good size. Just got to be able to figure out how to where I want to hang it up at here in the studio in my room. Stafford gets away, throws it into the dirt. Intended running back / receiver Kyren Williams. Flag on the play. Jacob in the building. What's good? Yeah, and like I said, I was going to try to be able to do some NBA, and I planned on it, with the post that I made. But I wanted to kind of trust my gut that I felt like the NBA really wasn't going to be that much different from last year, and I was right. And the Blazers are absolutely terrible. They hung in there for a quarter and a half or two, and they got absolutely fucking destroyed. And, again, it's like it's one of those things that maybe I can watch, but I don't think I'm going to be doing too many NBA games streaming-wise. It's just not for me, man. I just can't put on a fake smile and act like I'm excited, when it's just not for me and whatnot. So again, I was planning on doing that yesterday, but about 2 hours before, I was like, no, I'm just going to watch the game with Paisley instead and see how it goes. And I think that was the right decision as she comes in the room now. Lay down, honey. Blake Corum with a carry. Short game. The Michigan rookie. No, I am not going to do Pittsburgh on Monday night versus the Giants because I'm going to do the World Series instead. Yeah, Blazers got fucking drilled, and they have their own new channel, which is on like some crazy 11:10 or something on Comcast because they had to make a new channel for it. Obviously, since they're not on Root Sports anymore, they don't have Blazer cable, and it's not on ABC, which they tried to promote. It was going to be like on a local TV, but it's not. You have to have the channel in your cable package to be able to get it. Luckily, I did because I was trying to watch it before when I was just here in the studio, and then when I was streaming it, it was the Warriors announcers, and golly, the announcers of sports when it's not your team, they're fucking terrible. It's almost impossible to watch a game when you end up having the visiting team's announcers and it's not the one that you're used to watching. You're just so used to your guys, whether you like them or not. And then anytime you end up hearing two new people, doing the commentary, gosh, it stunk, man. Yeah, but the Blazers are going to be absolutely terrible this year like they were last year. Flag on the play. I mean, I will do Monday Night Football 9 times out of 10, but again, if we have a World Series matchup, something better, then I'm going to go towards that. But if it wasn't something like that, maybe down the road, Monday Night Raw when it's on Netflix, something like that, maybe, but those would probably be the only things that I would substitute for, because I like football, even if it ends up being kind of a shitty matchup, but I don't know. I think Russell Wilson's going to play good in that game against the Giants, and I don't know if you're going to get, good production out of Wandale, or if you're going to get Malik Neighbors, and if they're going to be able to do anything on the Daniel Jones side, but you assume that the Steelers will beat the shit out of the Giants, and Russ will have another good game. So, but I'll probably have it on another screen, but we'll do World Series instead. Shotgun set, Stafford, little screen pass. Kyren hit him with the okey doke, and a good tackle there by Van Ginkel. Van Ginkel is a stud. Great hair, great name, great effort. Love Van Ginkel. Would love to have a Van Ginkel on Tampa. I don't know. I feel like if you have a superstar player or a couple, then it ends up being somewhat entertaining. But overall, I don't know, man. It's kind of a hard watch for me, And I know some people would say that about NASCAR or hockey. Everyone's got their thing. Nice run there up the gut on 3rd down and 18 by Kyren. But, it all depends on if you have a connection, to whatever that you're watching and whatnot. But again, NBA used to be my number one out of everything. That and wrestling, back when I was a kid, it was just NBA was top notch. Hell, I even watched a shitload of college hoops back when I was a kid. Loved it, back in that era, Fab Five and all that. But North Carolina was Stackhouse or Rashid and, going through all the different, teams back then. But I don't know. It's just not for me anymore, unfortunately. Rams with the punt. Good tackle. Well, OKC's got Shea, so obviously that's a superstar. Celtics got two superstars, and Tatum and Brown. So, I mean, if you got superstars, then it'll be easier to watch, you know. But unfortunately, the Blazers have none, and their best player is injured, Shaedon Sharpe. And the rookie, Klingon, obviously coming off the bench, it shows some promise blocking shots. But overall, they just don't have a roster good enough to compete. They're going to get drilled by 20, 30, 40, 50 points every game, and they're probably only going to win 10 to 15 games all year. And I can't sit, for 3 hours is watching my team get absolutely obliterated. Now there might be a chance where I end up doing, one of your guys' favorite teams if there's nothing else to do, if I just don't take a mental health day off. So I won't say I'm not going to do any NBA. There'll probably be a couple NBA streams that we do, but that's probably it, a couple. So. I don't know. It's like, for me, NASCAR and NHL are just way, way more my thing, Now, if the NBA players in the college game was like it was in the 80s and 90s, yeah, I would be doing a shitload of NBA and probably even some more college hoops, But again, the game has changed, and, the talent has changed, just the lack of defense, everyone shooting threes, everyone being soft. It's just, I don't know, the way that they do the presentation, it just, I don't know. I just feel like it used to be must-see TV, and now, unless you're a fan of a specific superstar player or one of the top 5 teams or 10 teams, I know a lot of people, it's just not really there for them anymore, especially if you used to watch in the 80s and 90s when it was the best, and it's, it was like a 10 out of 10. Back in those eras with Magic and Bird and Jordan and Drexler and Olajuwon and Malone, Stockton and Mullen, and then even going into the 90s with Shaq and Kobe and Iverson, still at that point, Tim Duncan, it was good. But I think since like the year 2000 and on, the last 24, 25 years, it really hasn't been as good. The first part of the early 2000s with that Lakers three-peat, but, I would say probably in the last 20 years after that Lakers three-peat, it definitely went down, quite a bit overall, as far as the product, to me. So we're tied up at 14, 4:46 left, first down and 10. Man in motion. Darnold, play action fake. Good protection up front, but it breaks down. Oh, it's 12 noon. You know what time it is. Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Hit him with the skull. Hit him with the skull celebration. Jared Verse from Florida State. He's a beast. Yeah, Josh Oliver stood no chance right there. He said, "Get off me, little boy. I'm a D-end. Let me show you." Goodbye. Good sack lunch there. And again, it's like I'll watch, and keep up with what's going on, but I'm just not going to stream. There's the difference, taking the time to make the thumbnail and going through the matchups, but I'll still end up watching, some games or at least a couple quarters here and there, especially if there's nothing else on, just to kind of see the state of the NBA and how the superstars are playing, or if like Wemby's playing, let me see what the, the Phenom is up to. But I just don't think that they have enough for me to stream on like a weekly basis, unfortunately. D tackle, DN, you can move them around on any spot, the left side, the right side, right up the gut. Second and 25, reflect, dropping the knowledge. Darnold, bootleg, play action, going deep. Pass incomplete into a Ram assistant. Third and 25. Yeah, but again, with Jacob, if we didn't have the World Series going on, yeah, I still would end up doing that Monday night matchup. So not every Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night is going to be great, unfortunately. Rams defense flying around a little bit more than I think they anticipated. I mean, considering all the holes that they have on that. Trips left, 5 wide, shotgun set, no protection for a running back for Darnold. Little check down. Naylor. Like, where's Jordan Addison? And Jetta got some looks early, but I assume we'll get the Jetta touchdown in the second half. Welcome back. Vikings with the punt. And fair caught. We got 2:50 left as we go into halftime, and let me know what you guys want to do for photos. We can wait till halftime if need be, or if you want me to sprinkle in a few, I can do that. Let me know. Appreciate you. Shout out to Reflect, Megan, and Sarah for helping out on the Dono train so far. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It means a lot. Especially if you end up having a couple like underwhelming streams. And it's not like I expect us to, have big numbers on every, Kraken stream that we do and whatnot. But, we just want to make sure that, with all the time and energy and effort that's being put in, that hopefully, more times than not, that we can hit certain goals on the channel. So that way I can continue to do this for you guys. First down and 10, 14-14, Vikings and Rams. Good one here on Thursday night. What movie are you going to go see, Captain? Stafford. Kyren with a little cutback. Short game. I like Sean McVay. Very intelligent. Megan with a tenner. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Every dollar counts. Stacks on stacks. Racks on racks. Little cactus jack. Bang, bang. Thank you so much. He says, I'll do my own dono train. Fiverr right after. Thank you. First down, Rams. Move the chains. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks. Little cactus jet. Bang, bang. Little underwhelming performance from, the Kraken, but hopefully they'll be able to, turn it around. And maybe we just need to start doing games where Joey DeCord is the goalie and net that give us a better chance to win. Little dono trains. I love it. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are the best. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang, $10 holla, $10 holla, and another $10 holla. And it'd be really nice, I'm stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. I had to, take care of a lot of other, debt that was owed, and got that all squared away. Anytime you end up having things with, taxes and other stuff, that's something that you can't ignore. You have to get that done. And, to go from, where we were making, a certain amount of donos a couple years ago and then into last year, it was a drastic difference. And it definitely hurt my, bottom line. And it took a long time to be able to try to slowly but surely get that all taken care of. And I got, one other thing that, I'm getting kind of taken care of now. And I think I only owe now 500. And so in the next 2 months of like a 250 and a 250, I'll be all squared away with that. And then at that point, when we get into the end of the year, then I should be able to start, hopefully at that point, saving up for like a used truck. So that way, because I haven't had a vehicle in a couple years. And I would love to be able to take Paisley to the beach and just be able to like leave and like go somewhere whenever I want, and take Paisley with me and stuff. So not being able to, afford a vehicle, let alone insurance, has been pretty tough. But again, I appreciate you guys very, very much. And slowly but surely, I'm doing the responsible thing and getting all of the things that, that I borrowed or that I owe or need to pay back taken care of. And I appreciate you guys very, very much. Reflect with a $5. But again, the two of you have been anchors to this channel, not only this year, but every year that you've been a part of the channel. And I really appreciate it, because if I didn't have the two of you, we would not be in a position probably to be able to do this as frequently as I would like. So stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. Appreciate the Pacific Northwest support very, very much. Yeah. Well, it's one thing, like when you make a certain amount, and obviously, when you end up doing, a dream job like this, you don't really know what you're going to get day in and day out. Everyone else is, clocking in and clocking out. They know exactly what they're getting. When they work at 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 every week or every 2 weeks, they know, but this, I have no idea. We could end up hitting a 0 or we could hit 500. I mean, I have no idea, so again, it definitely makes it a little bit, more stressful. But then to go from a certain amount that we made a few years back, and then having some of those people not donate anymore or pass away or take their business elsewhere, it definitely hurt us. And, and then having to, pay things that I don't have money to pay was very difficult. It took a long fucking time to, especially if you get into a hole where you have to end up paying, like anyone that's ever had, taxes or tax issues where, you ended up having, not enough money to pay at the time. And then you have to go on like a payment plan or just do the best that you can with what you're getting and whatnot. And it definitely affected my mental health dramatically and whatnot. I was not in a very good headspace thinking like, okay, I got to pay these thousands of dollars back. And, I'm barely making enough money to survive. So how am I going to do that? And it definitely put me in an awkward situation. First down, Rams. But thankfully, with the discipline and all the hard work, that I got that all squared away, and that was a very good feeling, because that made me feel like shit, having that looming over my head and whatnot. I was in a very dark place, let me tell you. And then obviously now just trying to, get this last little chunk of, money, paid back, to family and whatnot. And then I'll be square, and then I won't have anything that I have to worry about. Flag on the play, Cooper Kupp with the catch. But I've been definitely wanting to get a used truck for a long time, but I wanted to make sure that I took care of all those other things first, because that was more important. And I don't have a bunch of credit cards or anything like that. I got one. So I'm hoping at one point I can pay off, that credit card and then just rip it up and just never have it again. So, and, so those will be the goals for me, at some point going into next year, paying off my credit card for, a little bit of an amount that I have on there, not a lot, but a little bit. And then hopefully being able to get a used truck. So thank you with the dono train from the two of you. Appreciate you very much. Stafford. Intended receivers, Cooper Kupp. Pass incomplete. Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, people don't realize what it's like. It's like when you're doing this type of job, and then all of a sudden you're making like a certain amount of donos and money each month, and then you go, from making that to maybe a tenth of that, and then all of a sudden I got to pay $4,000 or $5,000 that I don't have. That definitely took me into a very dark place, which it probably would for you guys as well. But thankfully, with the hard work, that I was able to get that taken care of. Pass deflected, incomplete. I mean, I've never been in a position like that where I've had to owe, like $4 or $5 grand, but that's what it was, the lack of support. After getting support and having people take their support somewhere else, it really fucking changed things. So, but that's what happens, that's life, I guess. And then you got, rich people that, owe, millions or thousands of dollars, and they can just skate away with it. And, government doesn't care. I guess it just depends on who you are, huh? If you're a rich mofo and you owe millions of dollars or thousands of dollars, they'll just look the other way. And then you got poor O-Dog, fucking low income, barely surviving, and then, trying to come after me, and whatnot. So I guess that's life, huh? Yeah. Job change, debt, relationship changes. Yeah, stress meter was definitely, at an all-time high, but I'm really, it's pretty much like everything that I was earning, last year, every month, like I wouldn't be able, I wasn't able to spend anything on my, like literally everything that I worked hard for was just, goodbye, so, and that was a hard thing to do, like not being able to have anything for yourself for like a year. People don't realize like the struggles that I had to go through, but thankfully I'm done with that. And things obviously are a little bit better now within the last couple years. So 1st down and 10, Stafford. Hand off to Aaron Jones for a short game. Yeah, but hopefully once I can get the credit card, taken care of, I can just rip it up and never have one again, or, because I never even use it. So it's like pretty much I'm just paying every month, for something where they're just putting interest on, and, it's like I wish I was rich so I could just make like a one-time payment and never have it again, instead of having to, keep paying, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for, just interest fees every month and whatnot, which is terrible, but I can only pay what I can afford. So. But a used truck would be great for me in Paisley. So, yeah, I know. I'll end up keeping it, but it'd just be nice to be able to get that balance down to, like $100 or like zero, just like, get it down to, I can always, try to build credit that way and go that route. But we got 21 seconds left here before halftime, and we can start throwing up some pictures and whatnot. So. Yeah, some people come and some people go, but some people will be, consistent, and consistency is always king, and overall. And I do appreciate everyone that, goes above and beyond for me, with all the things that I end up doing, for the channel and for the people and whatnot. So some people will recognize it. Some people won't. Some people will help. Some people won't, and you just got to be able to find, your tribe and your people. Some people will rather run and just go to a channel that has more people in the room, or that has a more higher sub count, and they'll turn their back on us, and then some will come back and some won't, and that's fine. Everyone can do whatever they want. If they want to go somewhere where there's more people in the room, so be it. If they want to go somewhere that's got, more subs, so be it. Everyone will be able to find where they think they fit in, but people will start to realize just because someone ends up having a high sub count or more people in the room doesn't mean that the host necessarily cares about you, or the people in the room. You'll figure it out on your own, if it ends up being a good fit or not. So. We're tied up at 14, 21 seconds left in the second quarter. Darisaw. That's a big injury, especially from them being a top 2 defense. 46 starts in 48 career games. He can barely walk. That's huge. Wow, we're at halftime now. All right, let me know what you want to do for photos, and I'll get you. Sarah wanted a DeForest Buckner, so we'll get that out of the way. Reflect anything that you want, or Megan. I got you. Good first half. I'm glad Cooper Kupp isn't at a 0. I would have lost my mind. All right, Megan, what would you like for photos? Let me know when I got you. Yeah, and anytime you end up having a player, that is on the team that went to the other team that lost, of course, they're going to have, a certain thing. Now, that's pretty extreme, actually, having a whole, Oregon Ducks suit and making the player wear it. But again, big bets end up turning into big consequences if you lose. And, good for them to be able to, stick to the bet. And I assume that the player that ended up making the bet thought for sure that Ducks would lose. So he thought that he was going to skate by and win that one pretty easily. But we'll see what happens, obviously, this weekend with Illinois. And we'll see what happens, moving forward as well. So. All right, I got you. (14-14) at halftime. We'll sprinkle in some photos for the people that have supported. I appreciate you. Good first half. And anything that you want to pull up, reflect, let me know. I know you're not really caring too much about the photos as much as others and whatnot, and I got you if you want. If I can find anything new here for you. Oh, there you go. There's a handsome fella. That's a new one. Haven't seen that one before. Oh, I found another new one. Might have to add these. Okay. Let me see if I can find the file. Where's my file at? I put those two in the file for the future. There we go. Hope you like those two new ones. Those ones are came out pretty good for black and white as well as color. All right, I got you. Yeah, I think anybody can beat anyone on any given Sunday, Monday, or Thursday. Obviously, Buffalo is intimidating with Josh Allen, and James Cook and whatnot, and they got Amari Cooper there now too as well. So, but I mean, if we're talking about their defense really isn't that good, for Buffalo. So again, you're going to probably be able to match points with them, but you're going to have to force some turnovers on Allen to win. Again, if you're just looking on the outside, just looking at Buffalo and Seattle, probably a good chunk of fans of NFL would probably take Buffalo, regardless if it was at home or on the road in Seattle. But I definitely think that they have a chance, because I think Seattle understands, at this point, with the way that the division sits, the Cardinals are bad, the Rams are bad, the Niners are injured, like the most injured team in the NFL with all their superstars. Somebody's got to come out on top in the division. And again, if you can just make some plays and play, good football at home like you normally do, yeah, there's definitely is an opportunity to win that game. Now, if the defense doesn't play well, right, then you'll lose. So again, the defense has to be able to, limit James Cook and limit Josh Allen running the ball himself. And if you can minimize the damage with Cook and Allen, and, try not to have Amari Cooper score like fucking 3 times in the game, and the receivers and whatnot, again, they should be able to have a chance to win that game. Now, is there a chance that you lose by a field goal? Yeah. Is there a chance that the Bills blow out the Hawks in Seattle? Yeah, that could happen too. But, based on how Seattle is sitting right now, and getting some of those guys back, on defense, it shows you how much of an impact Byron is. It's like, giving up 33 points a game to 15, when he's there. So, and obviously we know Josh Allen can put up 15 points by himself. So we'll see how it goes. But, it wouldn't really shock me either way. But I do think you have a chance to win this weekend. But again, it's going to be up to the Hawk defense. The offense will be able to do their thing, and they got to take advantage of that Bills defense that is not as good, right? You got to be able to take advantage of that, but really it's going to come down to, how is Seattle's offense going to play against an underwhelming Bills defense, and is the Seahawk D going to, make it more difficult for Josh Allen and company? And if that's the case, then yeah, obviously you'll have a chance to be able to get that dub. And most people would probably say if the Seahawks beat the Bills, even though they're at home, that would be an upset. I think most people would probably say that, just because there's always a West Coast bias. No matter if the Hawks were undefeated right now or at the record that they're at now, people love not giving the credit where credit's due on the West Coast for whatever reason. So I'll definitely be rooting for the Hawks to beat the Bills. Cole with a 4. Appreciate you. I'll get some Seahawk photos up here for Reflect. And for Megan as well. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, a little cactus stack, bang, bang. And let me know what you want to do, Cole. I got you too. $35 to go. Yeah, and it's not often that you're going to end up having a player on an NFL team that single-handedly can change the outcome of a game. I've had one on my team. I've actually had a couple. Warren Sapp did it. Derek Brooks did it. Simeon Rice did it. John Lynch did it. Rondé Barber did it. But if we're talking about nose tackle, D tackle, Warren Sapp for the Bucs was the best D tackle in that generation. And then I got Vita Vea now, who is one of the top 3, top 5 at that position. And Byron looks like he is the next Vita Vea type of player. And he's could be possibly even better than Vita Vea. So, again, when he's playing, and not only does it put more pressure on the quarterbacks, but also it limits a lot of the run game that's coming at you. And again, what have been the weaknesses for the Hawks over the years? Offensive line and defense. So now you bring in McDonald to create the baby Raven D. You guys started off 3-0, then 5 guys got hurt out of 11 on defense. Then you hit a fucking wall. Then you drop 3 games, but now you got your guy back, and it seems like you can start another win streak. So hopefully he can stay healthy for the rest of the year, because obviously the wins, for Seattle depend on it. You're gonna need that guy in front. It's just like if Warren Sapp was out, they're gonna run all over me. So again, when you end up having a great nose tackle, D tackle, it really does make the difference on a team. Zay in the building, what's good? But I love, defense. I'm a linebacker guy. I'm a safety guy, but I love D tackles and nose tackles, like a lot, But again, growing up and, watching certain ones dominate the game and then, end up having, one of the GOATs, one of the greatest of all time, with Warren Sapp and seeing what he did, on a weekly basis. I mean, you can't put into words, what that type of impact felt like, knowing that teams can't run on you no matter what, and then on top of that, having Simeon Rice, getting sacks off the edge, Brooks and Rondé Barber and Lynch laying the wood and, hitting hard and also getting picks and big plays and forcing fumbles. And, it all comes together when you end up having a great defense. Defense wins games, defense wins championships. Let's go. Stud right there, man. And we'll sprinkle in a few more Hawk photos throughout the stream during commercial breaks and see if I can get this Martin Truex Jr. here real quick for Cole. All right, second half kickoff is here. And I'm sad NASCAR's wrapping up. Not everyone has that same type of love and passion for NASCAR like myself, but we're getting very, very close to the end, not only with the World Series, but for NASCAR Cup Series as well. Let's see if I can squeeze these in for your dono real quick. First down and 10 for the Rams. See if I can get you one more quality one, maybe a picture of him. There we go. Throw to Puka, no surprise. Got one more loading up right here. All right, so we obviously get him. We got the car. And we got a nice close-up of him as well. I always like Martin Truex Jr. too, with early back in the day with DEI, with Dale Earnhardt and Michael Waltrip. It was like when Martin Truex was first coming up, I could see the potential. Floater, Puka, and he drops it. Wow, they're just going to Puka like they're going to Puka like Cooper doesn't even exist. Blitz Seahawk Funko Pop, nice. I was actually watching film on the guy that you got rid of and the guy that you brought in. A big difference. because the guy that you guys let go was horrible in coverage, and was missing tackles and was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And then the new addition actually attacks, the point of weakness and tries to be able to be more in position. So I actually like the move, especially if you end up having a guy that's just not a good fit for the team. And I watched quite a bit of film, and there was a lot of missed tackles and a lot of, being out of position, in those first few games. And I think that's why they made the move. They want to make sure that, if they have weaknesses on the defense, they need to get rid of them, and they need to bring in players that are going to be better. So I don't know how much better, Jones is going to be, but I would assume much better, based on the film that I watched, because a lot of out of position, a lot of just kind of like, kind of playing when he wanted to kind of thing. And again, if the coaches notice that you're out of position or you're not hitting the hole hard and you're not tackling properly, then yeah, they're going to try to be able to get rid of you and get another piece that might be a little bit better. So yeah, exactly. It can't be any worse, because what you had on a scale of 1 to 10 was like a 1. So even if the guy ends up being a 3, it's better than what you had, but I don't think it'll be a 3. I don't know how, good of a player he'll be for the rest of the year, but it can't get any worse than what you had, so that, again, to make a move on that position at this point of the year is very, not alarming, but it's like, it's a drastic move to make a move on a defensive piece, and the only reason that you would make a move for a defensive piece is because that guy is terrible. And, again, if you end up being rated very, very low at that particular position at linebacker, that's one thing the Hawks cannot have, with all the injuries that they've already had. You got to make sure you're getting the right piece at the right time. So, we'll see how it goes. But again, to go from one of the worst pieces, it can't get any worse than what it was, watching the film. So I think that it'll be an improvement for you guys. So how much of an improvement? We'll have to wait and see, But the grades are better, just like Reflect said, and I try to watch the film and, go down, the different progressions and to see. And luckily there is quite a bit of film to be able to watch if you know where to go. And I was a little shocked on, how many times, he was out of position and whatnot, but that makes me understand why they ended up making the move. 2nd down and 6, little play action. Stafford going long, going deep. Puka one-on-one. And tries to become the defender, a corner at the last second. Incomplete. Yeah, maybe a 0 then. Yeah. I know, Daddy's here. Yeah, and you got to trust that they understand what's going to be correct for that team. If you're trying to build a Baltimore Raven defense, intercepted. Oh, Murphy with the pick. With a little shimmy and a little shake there as well. Nice job by Murphy. But again, normally you don't see people making moves for like linebackers, at this point, and then like Devin White got picked up, by the Texans. But again, he gave up on the Buccaneers after helping us win a Super Bowl. Maybe got a little bit too cocky, and then, it was liking Philadelphia Eagle, posts on like Instagram and Twitter/X, and thought, oh, I'm just going to go to Philly and I'll be the starter and I'll dominate. Didn't even play a game. They cut him. And now he's on his 3rd team with the Texans. So, I wish the best of luck, for Devin White and whatnot, but it shows you no matter how good you were in college at LSU, no matter how good you were with Tampa, you were a big reason why we won the Super Bowl, and got that type of success, with him and Antoine Winfield Jr. and him and Levante David feeding off of each other, but if you ended up watching, as the years went on, he definitely was taking plays off and was getting a little lazy, maybe just living that millionaire life. And I know he loves horses, just like the Joker, in the NBA. But if you start loving horses more than football, people are going to notice, if you're not putting in the effort. And I think that's what happened. And, I feel kind of bad about it too, because hell, I invested, like $300 on 2 fucking jerseys, for Devin White, thinking that he was going to be there for, maybe 10 years and be like the next Levante David. So it's not like I'm going to throw the jersey away. But if I would have known that was going to happen, I would have spent that $300 on a home and away white and red Levante David instead of spending it on Devin White. But again, mistakes are things that I guess I make more often than not, and sometimes you just don't know if a guy is going to be there short term for just the rookie deal, or if they're going to be there long term, and if they're going to be a class act like Levante David or a problem child like Devin White. And but one thing is for sure, I wouldn't have, got to the Super Bowl or won it without Devin White. So definitely not going to get rid of the jerseys. They're not going to go to Goodwill. I spent too much money on them, and I still will wear them. But just would have been nice to have him on the team longer than 4 or 5 years. So it's crazy. Life hits you fast. If you get too cocky, and you start thinking that you're better than you really are, you could have the talent, but talent only takes you so far. You have to be able to put in that work ethic, and you have to show that you're hungry, that you're wanting to learn, and you're a good teammate, and you're willing to be able to put in all the extra effort instead of being like, oh, I made it, and then just, stop trying, and just think that nothing bad is going to happen. You're not going to have any repercussions for your actions. And it was probably surprising to him, that happened. But again, if you end up, not trying to your fullest potential or giving up, teams are going to notice. And he got benched at the end of last year, which was kind of surprising for some. But if you were watching every game like I was, I could see it coming. It was kind of a weird thing where he was such a great player, and then all of a sudden, just the lack of trying. I don't know if he had other things going on in his personal life, if he had mental health, stuff going on, which is possible, but I don't think I've ever seen a drop off as big as that in a long time, from a player that looked like, he could be a staple of that Tampa defense for a long time and be a name that we would associate with Derek Brooks, Levante David, Devin White. And, it just didn't work out. Little check down. Go, baby, go. Hit that sideline. First down, Vikings. I like that. Yeah, I think you guys ended up getting a steal for Ernest. I mean, anybody can always be, skeptical, but again, this is not the Pete Carroll era. This is the McDonald era. So obviously they're going to be focusing, it seems like, more on, hopefully the offensive line and the defense, because once those get fixed, then the team is going to start winning divisions year in and year out. Even if you have to battle against the Niners, and they obviously had the injuries this year more than anybody, but again, they've always had, the quarterback and the running back and the wide receiver. Obviously, tight end is another position that needs to be upgraded too. So I would assume that will happen at some point. Hopefully you guys will get a Brock Bowers of your own, but once the tight end gets firmed up, a couple more offensive linemen, and then firming up that defense, then it's going to be pretty scary for the other NFC teams playing Seattle in a few years. Darnold to the sideline to Addison, fighting for that first down, close to the marker. Jack Leonard is another one where he was like one of the best players in football and then just dropped off, But also injuries were more of his thing, though. It wasn't due to lack of effort. It was he just had too many, big impact injuries and never could stay on the field. So that's a little bit different than Devin White. Him, it was more injuries, not lack of effort. With Devin White, it was lack of effort, I mean, injuries, you can deal with that. You know what I mean? But lack of effort, you can't deal with that. I know, Paisley. Daddy's almost done. Hand off to Aaron Jones. Are you hungry? Do you want food? You want food? Yes, I agree to that. And again, a back injury is very detrimental, especially if you're like a linebacker or like a D lineman. They're especially as aggressive. Getting over 100 tackles like every year, you're not going to be able to be the same type of player if you can't fucking move. Let alone get out of bed. Hold on, Paisley. 2nd down and 8. Shotgun set. Darnold avoids the pressure. Wide open. Jay Jetta. 1st down. Vikings. Move the chains. And obviously, Darnold is going to try to make it an effort to get Jetta the ball heavy in the second half. Because you want to go to your best player, on the field, which is Jay Jetta, Jets. And again, I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up getting a touchdown either in this quarter or next quarter. 7 receptions, 88 yards. Darnold, look at him. Bye. Oh, my God. Jetta with the one-handed grab. Are you kidding me? Oh, my God. Unbelievable. All right, I'll be turning that on here in a second as well. Defend the deep, release the Kraken. Thank you so much for your support. Appreciate you. And I'll be watching the Kraken here as well. Handoff to Aaron Jones. Good tackle by the Rams. And hopefully the Kraken can win tonight. I'm going to turn it on right now. Thanks for the reminder against the Winnipeg Jets. Ooh, that's going to be tough. All right, I got it on now. Okay. All right. Second and goal, handoff to Jones. Yeah, I think everyone's trying to kind of get situated for dinner and whatnot. Oh, thank you so much, man. You're a godsend. You're a blessing. Yeah, I wish we had more people to be able to show the generosity and support and love to this channel like yourself. Thank you so much, man. And like I said, if we do have a big day, chances are you're involved in it, or Megan, or both. So thank you so much. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Or maybe someone like Mr. Williams or Odin's son. But thank you, man. Me and Paisley really, really appreciate it. It gives me an opportunity to be able to, continue the dream and take care of her. I ended up getting her a monster-sized chicken bone for like, $15 or $20 as well after I ended up washing her and getting her nails trimmed and dremeled. And she is in heaven right now. She's right next to me, just sitting there, and got some good fruit as well. And she is very, very happy. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. 4th and goal, kick is up, and it is good. There's your Reichard field goal. It wasn't exactly what you needed for like a $5, but at least you get a field goal there, and you might be able to get another 1 or 2 of those in the second half. Hopefully I can get you to 10 in fantasy, obviously with Reichard there. So I believe you're at 5 now. So we need at least 1 more field goal, and if it's 40, you'll get 9. 50, you'll be at 10. So you're halfway to where you need to be. So yeah, that's true. But some people, when they can, they still, maybe would do less than what you guys would do. So, but we'll try to get you your 10 on your points there. And hopefully Cooper Kupp can, get a few more points as well. I would love for him to be able to get to like at least 15 to give myself a shot against Elliott. And I don't know. I'm at 10.5. I don't expect to get another touchdown, but it would be awesome to get somewhere between 15 and 20 out of Kupp. And I know right now with Puka's at 15.4. So I don't know. I just think this one, the Rams defense isn't great, but they're actually playing a little bit better than expected. So if they can firm up, then your field goal opportunity will happen in the 4th quarter, but we'll find out. So, all right, I'm going to go get Paisley some food since she's whining. Appreciate you very, very much. I'll be back here in just 1 second. And if you end up grabbing food or going on a walk, obviously I'll still be here for the 4th quarter. So. Kyren Williams has got Reflect 19.6, Reichard with 5. We need to get more points there. Jetta's got 19.5 for Shep. Zini only got 5 points out of Minnesota D. Aaron Jones has got 6.7. So he needs to get into the end zone for you for it to be relevant. Give yourself a shot against Megan. Got to get Aaron Jones in the end zone. Yeah, that's all right, Cole. You're not in the same situation as like Reflect or Megan, so anything that you can do when you can is greatly appreciated. All right, no problem. (17-14) Vikings. (15 for 22, 128 yards, 2 TDs, and 1 pick. Stafford is just loving that he's got Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, and when they're both healthy, they're both top 10 wide receivers, in the league if they have enough opportunities to get the football. Parkinson, first down, Rams. Move the chains. And like I said, even with limited people, some people, will tend to go where the crowds go. Some people are leaders, some people are followers. And, obviously I would love to be able to have more people show love and support to this channel, but it shows you the people that do care and do support me and Paisley and want us to win. Even with a limited group, we can still end up getting just as much, if not more, on the dono train than channels that have way more people in the room. So, just because you have a lot of people in the room doesn't mean that they're going to support the same way. We got some special people a part of this channel. Second down and 10 for the Rams. Yeah, appreciate Reflect and Sarah and Cole and Megan and all the people that come through to show love and support. And I'll probably try to do some more reaction videos on the NFL side. A lot of times it's like if I feel that, if I'm taking a lot of time and effort and energy, to make the thumbnail and to do it, and I'm only getting like 100 views on it, it's not really worth my time to do it. But I do know that if I do, even if it only gets 100 or 200, I might get a couple subs out of that. And I do want to keep creating, more subs. And I've been doing the numbers and looking at, how many people actually are watching those and whatnot, and, coming to the channel for those specifically. because sometimes people only watch the reaction videos and they're not watching the live stream. So I'll try to be able to pump out some of those, based on the time that I have, as we go on in the season. First down and 10. Stafford going long, going deep, one-on-one, got a man, and complete. Poked away, intended receiver, Tutu Atwell. Good defense there by the Vikings. Appreciate you very, very much. Means a lot. That ball was a little underthrown. If that was thrown a little bit earlier, that would have been a touchdown. But way to get that right hand in there to poke it away from Tutu Atwell. Stafford knows he missed that one. Shotgun set. Stafford, and the play is blown dead. Flag on the play. I think it's a false start. But we'll be doing a World Series tomorrow. I might do a reaction video to this particular game, just to kind of get at least one out there. And then, again, we'll be doing World Series tomorrow. Yankees and Dodgers around 5 o'clock. And then Ducks and Illinois on Saturday at 12:30. And then maybe World Series Game 2 at 5 to see if I'm tired or not. But if I can bust out 2 in one day, that'll be the day I do that. And then obviously we have Cowboys and Niners on Sunday night. And then we'll have, instead of Monday Night Football with the Steelers and Giants, we'll do World Series game number 3. Elliot in the building. What's good, bro? Double E. Your boy Mick was in the stream earlier. That was a little bit of a surprise. I wasn't expecting him to pop in and say hello and whatnot. How you doing, Double E? Mr. Pepperoni, how are you? Pep in his step. My boy, Double E. First down and 10. Stafford hands off to Kyren. Runs into a Minnesota purple people eater wall and goes down. Really? Ever since he got his new job, and then he's just been MIA. I figured you guys were hanging out still, but again, if he's got girlfriend and new job, and I asked him how long he's been there at that job. He said about 1.5 years. So he ever since he ended up getting the job with no more free pizza, he's sounds like you guys need to hang out again if you guys have time for each other. Pass all the way into the end zone, touchdown Rams. Robinson, but there's a flag on the play. What a catch by Robinson, but is it coming back? Wow. Pass interference, defense. Marcus Robinson with the tutty. I wish that was Cooper Kupp. Yeah, that happens, though. You and the homies have been trying to get, but again, if he's got a job and a girlfriend, and sometimes that happens. Sometimes it happens, intentionally, and sometimes unintentionally. It kind of just depends on, if that's a part of your life at the moment. But you never want to forget about the friends, especially if you got good ones, But again, anytime you end up getting into a new relationship, or, you end up, getting into that, a little bit deeper and whatnot, sometimes, some of the other people that you used to hang out with aren't necessarily a priority at the moment, though. Still your dog, though. Yeah, it was crazy, man. I was going to say, I haven't seen him in here in like a year or something, and then he just popped in. I didn't know if he was hanging out with you or what was going on, but it was cool for him to drop in and say hello for a second. You guys need to get together for another baseball game, get all the homies together, and that way you guys can rekindle the friendship, Sometimes that's what you need to do, is that you need to be able to have like an event that you guys can go to together where he can't say no, where it's like a baseball game and all the homies are going. So, well, I guess he could say no and make an excuse, but, if it ends up being something like a baseball game, chances are there'd be a better chance of getting everyone to come together for that. So. Yo, dog, what's going on with you? Have you listened to any of the new music? You go through all of Tyler's new stuff? Anything else you got coming up pretty soon that I got to keep my eye on music wise, or anything that you've seen TV wise or movie wise? I think right now the only thing that I haven't got a chance to see because I don't have a subscription to HBO or Showtime is the Penguin. The Batman like spinoff. I heard it's like super violent, but it's like done really well. I've seen a couple clips on like Instagram and like Twitter/X of some of the kind of insanity and violence that is in the show. But other than that, I've been keeping up with all the other shows, but that's the one that I really want to watch, but I just don't have access unless I end up paying extra, like on whatever, like my Hulu account or whatever. And then I can end up, watching the Penguin for like, a week or two and then canceling it or something. So. Oh, really? Yeah. And sometimes if the friends are good, you don't give up. Sometimes if it's just like an acquaintance, then people kind of go their separate ways. But if you still got good bonds, it's just busy and he's making the choice to work and hang out with his girl instead, then that happens. And not only for young people but for old people as well. And once you get to a certain age, sometimes you just don't go out as much. And then you just end up kind of doing what's in your comfort zone. So applying for some jobs. Good to hear. How is mom? How is the fam? Pre-ordered Tyler's new album on vinyl. Nice. Rest in peace, Fernando Valenzuela. Phenom. Haven't seen anyone like him since. My buddy Joe that hops in the channel here and there, he's a big Dodger fan, and Fernando Valenzuela was his favorite player. He grew up in LA, he's got a Latino background and whatnot, and obviously it gave a lot of people, not only just in California and LA, but a lot of the Latino fan base hope for someone that kind of looks like them that would be able to, have the success that Fernando did. Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, won a World Series. He did things in that 1 year that no player has done since. Absolute stud. Well, I hope that you guys can get a chance to get together at one point or another. Move in with the friends. Good, man. That's good to hear. Darnold, little check down. First down, Vikings. Move the chains. (21-17) Ramley. Rams got a lot of athletes. They might not have the greatest offensive line and the defense with no Aaron Donald, but they're showing that they can still compete. With a team that looked like one of the best in the NFL with the Minnesota Vikings. Obviously, the Darisaw injury on that D-line is devastating. We'll see what the significance of the injury is. And they'll be getting Hawkinson back for Sarah's fantasy. At least, she'll be able to use him a couple weeks before the season ends, hopefully. But it sounds like he'll be back in a couple weeks as well. Just not ready yet today in this game. As you see Paisley's tail go behind me there. You want to lay down? I'm going to go I'll grab your bone here real quick. 1 sec, baby. Let me grab your bone. You can lay down right there. Lay down. Over here. Over here. There you go. You can eat your bone in here. These are the type of bones your boy gets for the Paisley pup. You know, they might cost like 15 or 20 bucks, you know, a pop, but if they last like a month, you know, they got bacon or chicken, you know, she's on cloud 9. She said, "Thank you, Dad. Love you. Eat your bone, honey." Good girl. Eat your bone. End of the third quarter, 21-17, Ramley. Oh, Kraken, Matty B. Hell yeah. On Winnipeg, too. I got it flipped over here on the other screen. That's awesome. I saw Jessica and Maddie working on some techniques, obviously, in practice yesterday. So, obviously, it looks like it's starting to, you know, it's cool for her, too, because not only is she helping calling some, like, plays, that she actually gets on the ice with some of the guys, you know, in practice and goes through different skating and drills and whatnot. And normally you're not going to typically, you know, see that all the time out of every, like, assistant coach or coach on the team. Very cool to be able to see her use her intelligence, but also to be able to, like, go out there and skate, you know, with the players and go over techniques and whatnot, and actually having the players respect what she has to say as a coach, you know, not just as a female, you know, and being able to get some good results. I want to say that I'm surprised that Maddie scored, but not really, because it looked like he was really focused with her, you know, with that practice time. And, you know, it's always cool when you end up seeing, you know, that extra effort being put in. And again, I respect coaches that do that actually get into the grind, you know, with the players, you know, or get like a guy like Dan Campbell going down there and doing push-ups with the players, with the Lions. Like, when you end up showing effort like that as a coach, the players will do more because they know that you're invested in them and the team and winning. So very cool. Yeah. I like her. I like, you know, having that presence there, you know, and again, it's like, just because other teams were afraid to maybe make that higher, obviously it's cool to be able to see a Pacific Northwest team, you know, be 100% confident in the move, and obviously getting results off of that move as well. So, yeah, like I said, everything that I've read, every article I've read, every video I've seen, everything that I've seen practice-wise or in the game has been positive up to this point. So really enjoying what she's being able to bring for the Kraken. Yeah, me too. I hope we get a little bit more representation, you know, from the female coaches, regardless if it's in the NHL or in any sport. It's nice to be able to see diversity, whether it's black, white, Mexican, Asian, doesn't matter, or if it ends up being a female, if they're qualified and they feel that they can help a team, hire them and give them a role. And, you know, it's awesome to be able to be groundbreaking like that for the Kraken. And I think that she's going to have a lot of success with it too. Shotgun set, 3rd down and 3. We're in the 4th quarter. Darnold, floater, wide open. Aaron Jones, Aaron Jones. There's some fantasy points for you. Nice catch there by Aaron Jones. Yeah, and unfortunately, you know, you're going to get some organizations that are very heavily men-driven, and it just never is going to happen. You know, you're never going to see a female assistant or a female head coach, but you're starting to see, you know, certain teams and organizations embrace the idea that, you know, as long as the person is qualified, it doesn't matter if they're a woman or a man, and I totally agree with that too. So she's awesome. 1st down and 10. And I would assume once she ends up having more and more success, we'll probably see another female hire next year or the year after. Like, there'll be another team that will follow the steps of the Kraken. Timeout for Minnesota. And ultimately, the main thing is the players have to respect her. And again, if you can actually get the players to respect what she has to say, and they actually are listening and believe it, instead of just like staring at her, you know, or like, just like, you know, just being like a weirdo and, you know, like not actually paying attention to the words that she's saying. If you're just like looking at her looks, you know, it's like you've got to be able to be on board, you know, as a team. And I think for the most part, from a lot of the video that I've seen, it seems like the players are engaged, you know. And she's pretty. So, I mean, obviously, I imagine some of the players kind of get lost when they look at her a little bit, but as long as they respect her and she respects them, I think it's going to be a beautiful marriage with her and the Kraken. So. Yeah, I could see that happening. 1-0 Kraken. Nice job by Matty B. Starting off a little slow this season, so nice to be able to see him get a goal in this game, and maybe it won't be the last one we see. Maybe we get another goal or another assist or two out of him. That would be great. We need our guys, Bjorky and Matty and some of the others that have been off to a little bit slower start than Ebbs. Like Jordan has been hot, but we need the other guys that have held it down for the last few years to step up, like Matty and Bjorky, and Matty obviously has done that already. Little short game there by Aaron Jones. Yeah, the Kraken are fun to watch any year that they're playing. They got cool jerseys. They got a cool vibe. They got a great fan base. And I hope to do, more, obviously I'm going to do Kraken over NBA. Like I said, I was going to do the Blazers or do NBA last night, but I wanted to watch a game first with Paisley. And everything that I thought, going into the game and after is exactly where we were at last year. I feel like the NHL is just a better move for me. And yeah, some NBA streams might get more views, but it won't be the same feeling for me. But while I'm doing the Kraken, pass incomplete. Naylor, the intended receiver. And again, I want to make sure that I'm enjoying whatever I'm streaming. And if I really am a fan of the Kraken and enjoy, even when things get rough and we're down and we're losing, I would rather watch the Kraken win, lose, or draw than watch any NBA, team play. And that's just the truth. So, I mean, hell, I'd actually rather watch even some of the other teams play in the NHL, depending on who's playing. If Dallas is playing, the Stars, or the Vegas Golden Knights, or, depending on, who's playing. I mean, I can still get enjoyment watching that. 35-yard field goal is good. More points there for Reflect. It's exactly what he needed. There you go. Now he's at 8. One more field goal to get to over 10, and I think he'll get it. Yeah, that last Kraken game with that stream was a little underwhelming, but again, you can't expect, you can't expect wins every time out and whatnot. But again, I feel really the difference is in that, when Joey Decord plays, we win. When Grube plays, we lose, at least up to this point early on, and hopefully Grube will catch up. Otherwise, we're going to have to look for someone else to take his spot, because we can't have Joey, be goalie every game the rest of the way. And I assume that Joey's in net tonight. (21-20) Rams. What a good game here tonight for Thursday Night Football. And I appreciate all the love and support for me and Paisley. You guys are the best. I couldn't ask for a better group. And again, if I had a choice of having 100 people in the room, and being at, limited donos or limited support, or having a limited amount of people, but, the best support that you possibly could get with that amount of people, it's exactly what I would want. Sometimes you got to be able to find your tribe. And again, it would be great, if we could actually get support from others, where we could end up having more people. But again, we can't control what other people do. It's either you're a part of this channel and the tribe or you're not, and that's just how it goes. Some people are going to be a fit, some people aren't, and that's just how it goes. And I am really proud to have the people that I have here, obviously a part of this channel. Joey Decord. Matty Beniers assisted by McCann and Larson. I love it. 21-20 Rams and Vikings. Who's going to win this game? I don't think anybody knows. It feels like the Minnesota Vikings will probably have an opportunity for at least a field goal or two before the game ends, but it really just depends on what the Rams do. Can they get in the end zone one more time to force Minnesota to try to go in the end zone and it might lead to a pick, or are we going to go with a field goal party here in the fourth quarter, which could be possible? Got Stafford in there, Blake Corum in the backfield. Where's Kyren? Reflect needs a few more points. We'll delay a game. I got to get Paisley her bone. She left. All right. I was wondering where she went, but sometimes she'll end up just unexpectedly leaving, and then she'll go to the couch, and then we'll cover her up in some blankets like a burrito. So she's going to take a little nap while I'm working here. Screen pass. Blake Corum, first down, Rams, move the chains. I mean, most of the time, we're going to be inseparable of each other. We spend all our time together, and it's a great feeling, to be able to have that love, around you 24/7. Really has changed my life for the better. I think I've turned into a better man overall, just having that love in my life. 21-20 Rams. We've got 12 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. It could go either way. Stafford, little play action fake, bootleg. First down, Rams. That's not Cooper Kupp. 10.5 is okay, but I need a little bit more. I don't necessarily need another touchdown by Cooper Kupp, which would be great if I got it, but I'm trying to get to like 15-17, not 10.5. Come on now. Stafford. Corum. Short game. No, what's funny? We were talking about you earlier and how that was actually a brilliant move. That Lamar is like the MVP this year. And I don't know, if you just had a thing thinking that Derrick Henry coming there was going to make Lamar the MVP and he was going to have a great year. But normally taking a quarterback in the first round is a no-no. But again, taking a player that hasn't even played all season like I did, didn't do me any favors. And if I would have taken Lamar, maybe I would have your record. So, Lamar, it looks like he is the MVP up to this point. He's played well, and it hasn't hurt you. Now, obviously, your running backs and wide receivers could have been a little bit better depth-wise, but you could have did what I did and grabbed the wrong player, and then they end up getting hurt, or you can't even use them. So at least you got to use Lamar every single week. Again, I haven't been able to use my RB1, my wide receiver one. I haven't had a good quarterback or tight end all year, and that's why I'm at the bottom, and if I would have had more consistency, maybe I should have done something crazy and taken a quarterback in the first round as well, Judah in the building, what's good? But, again, you knew, like maybe Henry coming over and Lamar was going to, and Lamar is always one of the guys that you always assume could be an MVP candidate. It's not like he hasn't done it before, right? And he's been fantastic this year. Wish I would have took him. Right. And again, quarterbacks, you went with Lamar, and then Sarah went with C.J. Stroud second, which he probably regrets. Probably should have went Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts. And then, Megan ended up going Josh Allen, and then Reflect went Jalen Hurts, and then I was stuck at that point, and I probably should have took Joe Burrow instead of going AR. That was my mistake and whatnot. And again, sometimes you live and you learn. I'll never pick Cooper Kupp ever again. I'll never pick Christian McCaffrey again. I'll never pick Anthony Richardson ever again. And I'm retiring, so I won't have to worry about obviously that next year. But down the road, if I ever choose to do fantasy ever again, I definitely know what players I'll be taking and what players I'll never take. So, but that sometimes that happens, Elliot. And again, it hasn't hurt you. You still got an above 500 record. You're 4-3. Again, there could have been some other positions that were better, but to actually have a quarterback that that can give you 20 to 30 every game instead of being like me and fucking struggling and sometimes getting 5 or fucking 7. Like, it would have been a dream come true to be able to have someone, be able to put up 20, 30, 40 every week. And sometimes you got to sacrifice, other positions to get your guy. And if you felt that if you waited and he would have been gone, then you did the right thing, and it's paid off for you. So yeah, it wasn't serious though with him and his family, and I think his dog was in the car too. They're having Bryce Young play, but it's not like serious or anything compared to the player that got shot in the head and then ended up being okay. That went to the nightclub. Floater. Flag is thrown. Cooper Kupp, my boy. Yeah, but again, if you're enjoying fantasy with Lamar, then that's all that matters. I mean, hell, I wish I would have done it. Having Christian McCaffrey and not even being able to use him until I'm pretty much eliminated. It's like that doesn't help me one bit. It's like you got 14 weeks. I'm going to get him at week 10. Even if I end up winning every game the rest of the way, I still don't make the playoffs. He fucking screwed everybody. And the Niners should have been more honest that he was going to miss time, and no one would have taken him in the first couple rounds. He would have ended up being picked in the 4th or 5th round as a flyer just to put on your bench, but no one would have taken him in the 1st, 2nd round knowing that he was going to miss time, and to act like he was only going to miss maybe a week instead of fucking 3 months, and that's why karma came around and injured the rest of their players. They lied, and then now all the rest of their players got hurt. Ayuk is hurt, Debo hurt, everyone got hurt. So that's what happens when you lie, right? The sports gods make you fucking punished. And that's exactly what happened. And there's no team that's been hurt more than the Niners. So next time, San Francisco, be honest and let everyone know that McCaffrey is not going to play. And you would have definitely saved your season and a lot of people's fantasy teams. Facts. Yeah. And Godwin was the number 2 receiver. I mean, he was even better than Mike Evans. Unfortunate, but it looks like both of our teams are just ass booty cheeks now, and we're going to have to watch Shepard's fucking Falcons win the goddamn NFC South now. I'm not looking forward to that. We were going to be maybe a playoff contender. Maybe an NFC championship game contender, playoff contender. Now we're not even going to make the playoffs. It's I already had a hard enough time with fantasy this year. The last thing I needed is Mike Evans and Chris Godwin to be out for pretty much the rest of the year. It sounds like Evans will be back, maybe around week 11, week 12. But at that point, it'll be probably too late for him to get 1,000 yards. He's going to need to get 100 yards every game for the last 6 or 7 games. And I don't know if that's possible. Coming off a hammy. So, but our chances of doing anything this year is done, just like your Saints, and it stinks. Cooper Kupp, 3rd down and 4. Stafford, touchdown, Rams. That's not Cooper Kupp. Demarcus Robinson again. Yeah, just got to be careful though. Sports gods hear everything. And it's you guys had injuries and you were 3-0 and then you dropped 3 and then you got healthy and then you won. But again, it's not like the Niners, again, you guys are rivals and whatnot, and you're going to get people that are going to be petty back and forth and talk shit, but at the end of the day, it's not like the Niners are 100% healthy and they're just bad. They literally are the most injured team in the NFL. And if you're the most injured, you lose, and you lose bad. I mean, you got 5 guys on defense injured, right? There's nothing that you guys could do as Hawk fans. You guys just had to take it and then hope that things were going to get better when guys got healthy. And Byron came back, and boom shakalaka, you got back onto the the W's. So that's why for me, I don't engage in that kind of banter, whether it's real or petty or you're just kind of, saying it just to say it. I just feel like the more negativity you put out in the world, even if someone is giving it to you, as another fan base, just bad things happen, just regardless. I think it's just better to be the bigger person and not to be a shit talker, but sometimes, it's hard, especially when you get people that talk shit to you or about the team or the fan base. But, just for me, it's different, but again, I don't wish injuries on anybody. So, but I'm glad that you guys are getting healthy. And obviously, if I had a choice between, the Hawks getting healthy or the Niners getting healthy, I would rather have you guys get healthy and win the division this year. So, but karma is real. You lie about the Christian McCaffrey injury. Bye-bye, Debo. Bye-bye, Ayuk. Bye-bye, everyone. So, like I said, their Super Bowl window is definitely shrinking as we speak, minute by minute. So, yeah, this is another thing right here. When nothing is going good with your teams, it's time to watch Superbad. Very true. Very true. Matt in the building. What's good? Did you see, Elliot, that they have a McLovin shiesty? So, like, they have those shiesty masks that you can get where it looks like, people are going to go to a bank or whatever, and it covers up your eyes. And, they have different versions of the shiesty that you can have, like Nike version and other shiesties. But they have this, like, shiesty mask that you put over your head, and they have, like, McLovin, like, where you can actually, and the detail on when it goes over your face, if you put a hoodie over it, because it's black, so you have to wear a black hoodie, and you put the hood up, but it actually kind of looks like McLovin. And I know they have like Kanye and Diddy and a few others, but on the advertisement that came up on my social media, it was for McLovin, and I was like, man, Elliot would love that. Not something necessarily I think I would buy, but kind of a cool novelty gift. And then I guess if you end up hearing about McLovin, robbing an establishment, it probably ended up getting one of those shiesties. So, McLovin is an icon. Everyone from that movie is a fucking icon. I love McLovin. I mean, and again, the reason I love that movie so much, and I can watch it over and over and over, the music in that movie is top tier. The acting is top tier, and it gives you what high school is like in America. Regardless if you graduated in 2000 like me, or if you graduated a little bit later like Elliot a few years ago, like it's still relatable. Based on how people talk to each other, how they treat each other, how people can be cruel. Who the popular people are, and who are not the popular people, and sometimes people overlooking those things. Like, being popular isn't everything, but even high school, sometimes it makes you feel that way, unless you're, one of those popular people or whatnot. So a lot of good lessons to be learned in that movie. And again, top tier, like I said, and I don't think that they're going to do a sequel, which they shouldn't. It's always going to be one of my favorite movies of all time. So many. I mean, I could literally, word drop and line for line, in that whole entire movie. Sam Darnold, play action fake, little check down, 28-20 Rams, first down Vikings. Yes, one of the most quotable movies ever, for sure. I guess it just kind of depends on the type of sense of humor you have too. It's just like John C. Reilly, Will Ferrell, or Jim Carrey, and going through, those movies from back in the day. It just depends if you're an Ace Ventura person or a Dumb and Dumber person, or if you like Talladega Nights, I think every era will have like a duo, and it just depends on if you end up liking that particular duo at that time. So Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey were the duo, in the 90s. And then I feel now it's, Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. I mean, they can pretty much do anything and it's going to be funny. So. Yes, I'm definitely going to be watching that. That's going to win a lot of awards. And Anytime you end up having someone as brilliant as Denzel, in it. Yeah, 12 noon, you know what time it is. Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be seeing that. It looks amazing. I already like that type of style of time period piece, whether it's a series or a movie. But it looks incredible. Nice sack lunch there. Jared Verse just pushing people around. Rams defense is fired up. Shotgun set. Darnold, pressure off the edge, steps up in the pocket. Floater, incomplete. Yes. Yeah, we're watching it right now as well. 1-0. Much better of a start for us than the last game. But again, Joey DeCourt is in net, not Grubauer. Grubauer's in net, we lose. Joey DeCourt is in net, we win. So Matty B off to a good start in this particular game, and hopefully we can get the dub. Maybe that's a playoff year for the Kraken. I hope so. But they're really fun to watch. At least when Joey's in net. Vikings with the punt. 4th and 21. And remember that stat that I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, that any team that has played the Detroit Lions the next week, they've lost. All 4 teams, that have played up to that point. If they play like on a Thursday night, a Monday night, a Sunday night, all of them lost. So for the Rams to win this game, I'm not surprised. And it's not like I think that Sam Darnold is bad, but again, the flow of this game has definitely favored the Rams. And then you got Puka and Cooper Kupp making their debut, obviously after the injuries. And I only got 10.5 out of Cooper Kupp, so Elliott will probably beat me easily. But again, I'm trying to do the best that I can with the pieces that I have. But I'm projected to lose by 11, which I'm pretty much projected to lose every fucking game. But, that's my life. All right, we got 4:11 left, 28-20, Ramley. And we're at 200. Let's get to 3, if we can. Reflects at 30.5, 8 with Reichard and 22.5 from Kyren. It's going to be very difficult for anybody to beat Reflect in the championship this year. Hurts, Kyren, Mixon, Lamb, Thomas, Njoku, Montgomery, always swapping out defense and kicker, even with J-Mo suspended. Obviously there'll be a couple teams that will have a shot like Shep and Zini and whoever that 4th team is, whether it's Matt or Elliott or someone else. But, man, it's going to be tough to match up to that kind of roster. And again, when you can get that type of projection week in and week out, and you got 3 or 4 guys almost projected for 20 when most people don't have that, it makes a huge difference, especially when you get projected for that number and then you exceed that number almost every week. 28-20 Rams. We're going to do World Series tomorrow, Yankees and Dodgers. Saturday, I'll do Oregon and Illinois, and I'll do the World Series after, unless for whatever reason I just watch the Duck game and then do the World Series afterwards, since that'll be the show that will probably get more views. And then Sunday, we'll do Niners and Cowboys for Sunday night. And then Monday is the Steelers with Russell Wilson and the Giants, but we're going to skip that, and we're going to do World Series game number 3 in New York when the Dodgers go to New York for game 3. So I'm going to try to do every World Series game because I know we're going to get more views off that. We should be able to hit 1,000 to 3,000 views on each stream on that. And obviously it's going to be the most highly anticipated, highly watched World Series ever, not just because of the Japan viewership for Ohtani, but as well across the globe. When we have the 2 best players in baseball facing off against each other, Judge and Ohtani, but we also got superstars in Mookie, Freddie, Teoscar, as well as Juan Soto, Giancarlo Stanton, and a few others as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. First down and 10. Stafford. Kyren with the game, and obviously they're just trying to bleed the clock out now, but it definitely feels like the Vikings have no chance in this game. Yeah, I assume Dodgers in 6. If we can get Yankees or Dodgers in 7, that would be the best, for money and for entertainment purposes and whatnot. But I would assume, unless pitching and defense is dominated by the Yankees, I would assume the Dodgers will win in 6 or 7. But you never know. It all depends on who ends up playing the best, obviously, in every single game, and pitching and defense will be the X factor. And hopefully the Dodgers are not stupid enough to put Ohtani out there on the mound. They don't need him. Again, they need pitching, but you don't want to risk, any type of injury you just wait till next year, see how he looks, and go that route. Whether you win the World Series or lose the World Series. You win it, great, then try to win it again next year. If you lose, you'll probably be there next year anyways. So it's like every year that you got Ohtani, you're more than likely going to be in the World Series, especially on a team like the Dodgers. So now for the Yankees, it's a little bit different story, because if Juan Soto leaves, if they lose the World Series and joins the Dodgers, then you're probably not going to get the Yankees back in the World Series, because they don't have enough, unless they end up getting a replacement for Soto. But I don't know who they could get that would give Soto type of numbers, but you never know. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe the only saving grace for New York is if they win it and then Soto decides to re-sign. But they're going to have to pay a shitload. It's going to be like $400 or $500 million for Soto. It's not going to be like, $100 million contract. We're talking $400 or $500 million like Ohtani. So you better have a good pocketbook. Stafford. There we go, Cooper Kupp. Yeah! First down, Rams. Bang! Yes! There we go. 14.3. There we go. Give Double E a little bit of a little challenge this week. Now, if I can get a Cooper Kupp touchdown, that would just be glorious. I'm not going to get greedy, though, but if Cooper could get in the end zone, how amazing would that be? Give me like 22 points or over 20. Nice little pump fake there. Waiting for that route to develop. Cooper Kupp. There we go. And Cooper and Puka look healthy. And it shows you the difference from a 2-4 team that hasn't had Puka or Cooper Kupp all year, besides like the first week, and to be able to see the impact that it has, not only with Matthew Stafford, but this Rams team. All right, take care, Megan. Go Kraken. Defend the deep. Release the Kraken. Come on, Cooper Kupp. All right, now I'm projected to lose by 7, but that's a little bit better than what it was. And I think Kupp was projected for about 15, so I'm pretty much at the projection. Now, can you get above the projection? Can I get 1 or 2 more catches out of Cooper Kupp, or possibly a touchdown to see if I can even the score based on projected numbers? We'll find out. He's not in right now. But obviously, this is going to make the Rams more competitive, where it might end up being the Rams and the Hawks, fighting for the division down the road rather than the Hawks and the Niners. You assume the Niners are going to go downhill. Cardinals are bad. And the Rams, if they can keep Puka and Cooper healthy, they might be able to get themselves, kind of caught up to Seattle in a month or so. But we'll have to wait and see. Take care. Thank you so much for all your support and appreciation. Yeah, this is probably the most exciting World Series we've had. I mean, we don't got any, Astros in there or fucking Rangers or, some like, Diamondbacks. Like we actually have, 2 of the best teams with the best players. We don't have an underdog, heavy underdog in the World Series. Like you don't really know who's going to win. And I assume the Yankees are the underdog, but it's not going to be by much, and they're definitely good enough to win it all. It might be, the closest that we've seen, and hopefully it does go 7 games. All right, we're at the 2-minute warning. 28-20, Rams. 3rd down and 12, a big first down throw to Cooper Kupp, and then the game will be over. Damn, Zini got a 0 with Minnesota D. That's rough. I think her chance of beating Shep might have ended. Shep got 19.5 out of Jetta. Sam Darnold with an 18.2. I was thinking about starting him, but I got cold feet, and then I decided just to let him go back to the wire. And I'm going to trust Caleb Williams. I don't know how long I'll trust him for, but I like what I've seen out of Caleb in the last 3 weeks. So hopefully Caleb can get me 20 to 25 this week against the Commandos. And it's not a 10 a.m. game. It's later in the afternoon. So no Jaden Daniels. Hopefully Caleb can have a monster day. At least that's what I'm hoping for. Great day of support, even with limited people. Means a lot. Watching the Kraken here right now on the other split screen. Damn, that was a sweet goal by Matty. Hopefully he can take the next step in his progression, because we don't really have a superstar on the team, and I'm really hoping one day that we can get a superstar, top 3 goalie and a top 3 player, to be able to take us to the next level. If it isn't someone that's already on the team right now. Don't know if Joey's good enough to be a top 3 or top 5 goalie overall, and don't think we really have anyone that's in that same kind of superstar caliber as some of the other teams have, but we definitely have guys that could get much better and be a good piece. First intermission, 1-0 Kraken, as you have a person in a Kraken outfit dancing around. Let's go, baby. Cooper Kupp. Yeah, baby. Cooper Kupp, a little bit more Cooper Kupp, baby. I like it. Wish we would have went to him a little bit more than Puka Nacua. Puka at 18.1. Kupp at 16.1. That's a huge difference. Fantasy value for Stafford has gone in a different direction. Wow, they needed Cooper to stay inbounds there to bleed the clock. But they're still up by 8. And what are the chances of Minnesota getting a touchdown and a 2-point conversion? Not very good. So, All right, now I got a chance against Elliott now. I'm still projected to lose by 6, but at least Cooper Kupp got his projected numbers. And 16.1 is a hell of a lot better than 10. And I've been waiting since week 1 for numbers like that, even though in week 1 he almost got 40. So let's take a look at Cooper Kupp's first week. 32 points, 14 receptions, 110 yards, and a TD, and that's what I've been missing all year. If I could have had that all year, that would have made all of the difference for me. Great to see him back, even though it's about half of what he did in week 1. But again, you're dealing with Puka too, right? So it's not there's only one football, and you got 2 elite wide receivers. But 18 and a 16. I think Puka and Cooper Kupp fantasy owners are definitely jumping for joy now. And it's not like they played limited snaps and whatnot. So, Illinois ain't going to beat Elliott. Illinois ain't beating fucking Oregon. Oregon's going to more than likely go undefeated. And if we end up losing, it'll be in the playoff to like Miami, if something like that happens, or we go to the Natty and we play Georgia and we lose. But, based on our schedule and how we've been coached up, we ain't losing this weekend, and we ain't losing to Michigan, and we ain't losing to Washington. If we were going to lose a game, it was to Ohio State, and we won by 1. We ain't losing this weekend. Not happening. Flag on the play. Flag on the play. safety. Wow. Unbelievable. And the game is over. That's why stats are always important. Any team that has played the Detroit Lions and then going into the following week, now they're 0-5 after having to play on prime time, after playing, the Lions. And the Lion effect is real. Now the game is over. Rams, I'm telling you, man, they're right now 2-4, now 3-4. But again, it seems like if they can keep those two wide receivers healthy, the defense doesn't have Aaron Donald, and the defense really isn't that good, based on last year and previous years, right? But again, it seems like the defense gets motivated when they see Puka and Cooper doing what they do, and they've been able to maximize their potential. And again, teams that end up playing the Detroit Lions and after losing and end up going on Monday night, Thursday night, or Sunday night football are now 0-5. So obviously when you play the Lions, sometimes you're coming off that emotional loss, right? And then you end up losing again. And that's exactly what's happened to these NFL teams. Should have been a face mask there on Sam Darnold. Where was the face mask not call? Jay Jetta can't believe it. Jetta should have got a chance to get in the end zone, but where's the face mask? No call. His head gets ripped around. How do you not call that? It's a safety, but it should be not a safety. It's a face mask. That's very clear. And there should be review booths to be able to make sure that we get these calls correct, Instead of just being like, oh, we made the mistake, just let it go, and now the game is over. The game is still going to be over no matter what, even if you give them the penalty, Then it kind of makes you wonder if there's something going on with point spreads and if there's, some kind of Vegas shit going on, based off, people making bets and this and that. There looks like there was a little bit of a hold by that Viking offensive lineman on 55, but clearly Young with the face mask should not be a safety, should be a 15-yard first down, and give the Vikings a chance to try to tie the game up. And it's not like I don't think Illinois is a bad team. I think they were pretty good this year, but we're uber focused on trying to, get as far as we possibly can. And again, we got one of the best defenses in the country besides Georgia. Texas, obviously got exposed a little bit, but, pretty nice to be able to have Texas and Georgia and Oregon, as far as defenses are concerned. Offense, not as consistent as the defense, but that's what we're going to need if we want to be champions. But see, when a play like that happens and then they don't call it correctly, that's when it makes you think that the league is rigged, or it's rigged for Vegas, for people that bet the over, the under, how many points total scored or how many, points a team has to win by, and point spread and all that. It makes you kind of wonder, when it's so blatant, it clearly isn't, a safety and it was a penalty. How do you just let that go? Then it makes you kind of wonder, it's more than, just wanting the Rams to win. It's having them win by a certain amount, because they were going to win this game regardless. But, why not be correct, and call it the right way? That's rough. Kyren Williams there with the recovery. Big win for the Rams. And obviously Sam Darnold is kind of flatlining a little bit after his hot start in the first month. And still a pretty good quarterback, but, not a top 5 or top 10. Maybe a top 15, sometimes top 12 quarterback, But Sean McVay, happy to have Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua healthy, and it made all the difference. Rams might end up hitting a little bit of a win streak now. But again, when they're healthy, those are 2 of the top 10 receivers in the NFL. No one else has been hit harder besides my team, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. we were good. We look like we might be a Super Bowl caliber team. Now we don't have either one, and now we're going to be going in the opposite direction, going down in the shitter. All right, they got Seattle, Miami, New England, Philly, Nolans, and Buffalo. Wow. Rams could actually win a good chunk of those games. They're definitely going to beat Nolans. They'll beat Miami. Seattle will be tough. That could be 50-50. Buffalo could be winnable, especially if Puka and Cooper are still healthy. Hell yeah. Let me know what you think of it. Final score, Rams 30, Vikings 20. But again, people are going to be talking about Puka and Cooper Kupp. But what about that face mask? And again, you have to understand, when things are that blatant and they still don't reverse it, there needs to be rules in place to get the calls right. The Vikings were going to lose anyways, and if they did get a touchdown, they're not going to get a 2-point conversion, So it makes you kind of think that, Vegas is involved or something, some other factor is involved with Goodell, the refs, the point spread, Vegas. There was a certain amount of money that was going to be won or lost, and they decided just to say, fuck it right there. But unbelievable that they didn't call that face mask. Well, I appreciate every single person in the room. We ended up having an amazing dono day. We hit, 2? And again, we will hit that once in a while. But shout out to Sarah and Cole, and then obviously with Megan and Reflect with the bigger support. And obviously it took every one of you to be able to get to that number. So I appreciate it very, very much. And nice to be able to score some points in fantasy. I haven't been able to do that in a long, long time. And obviously I'm proud of everyone, and what they've been able to do in the league. But it just feels good. And then hopefully I'll get Christian McCaffrey back next week. And hopefully he'll just go off for 20, 30, 40 points a game. And that way that even if I suck, I can still have fun in the last, 7 weeks of the fantasy season since it's not been good. So appreciate you, Zay, very, very much. We're going to be doing World Series tomorrow, 5 o'clock Pacific, roughly. I assume that's what time the game is. Let me take a double check here, make sure we have the time right. But we're going to do Yankees at Dodger Stadium, World Series, game number 1. Super excited about that. That'll be at 5:08 first pitch. I'll be live at 5, and I'll go over all the starting lineups on both teams, and it's going to be awesome. Must-see TV, baby. Must-see TV. Elliot, Sarah, Zay, Cole, Megan, Reflect, everyone. I love you guys. Matt, appreciate you guys very, very much. And I got one question for you. Well, talk sports like us. Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Okay.